Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Overwatch match between Team Rampage and Cream Team. We're going to jump right into Busan. I am your caster, Septilence, and I am here with ManofClass.
Yeah, Busan gonna hit it off. Masters Division, Cream Team, Team Rampage. We know nothing about these teams, do we? We,
I
we
mean,
know we know who's playing on them.
we know that they were all supposed to play preseason, and then nobody ended up playing it. So this is the first
Yeah.
game for everybody here.
Yeah, and obviously we had some patch go live on Tuesday. There's some balance changes coming up, so I'm looking forward to seeing some Genji, maybe some Hanzo. I hope these teams will bring that one out because the Shimada being able to one-shot you essentially when you gets up close, that's gonna be interesting. And I think this is a perfect map to start it out on as well, because you will have some long-range hits can potentially, and then the Genji, once they get close, they can do the one-shot, but they need to get close first. Doesn't look like they want to run it out with it that though. It's
Looks like we're not going to see any distance at all here.
not
We've got the
really.
Ashe, but I'm amazed there's no Widowmaker, honestly. We've got the downtown, we've got the long sights, but the pick on the Ashe over the Widow, and then Team Rampage doesn't have a far hit scan at all.
For me, it makes sense, honestly. Widowmaker hasn't been that great of late. They do switch over to it now. But the Ashe can just do so much, especially against double barrier, helps breaking that down. The dynamite is just amazing, and she has a lot of mobility and just deterrence of damage to really do something. And she combos well with Echo, but yeah, they're not going that way. It's going to be dive versus double shield right now.
All right, yeah, we've got the double shield on cart here. The dive looks a little bit scattered. It looks like they're going to rotate all the way around the back onto the high ground, but with that double shield comp on the point, it's going to be really difficult for them to break through this, especially with the Winston. He can tickle that damage in, but they're not going to get a lot of value till they get rid of these shields. Mui's going to be poking around in that back line, but he's going to take more damage than dealing. It's going to be difficult, but it looks like Cream Team's going to cap this point quickly. Team Rampage just trying to stall for as long as possible, look for that early pick. The pick does come through from Sark onto Disease. That's a very valuable pick as the Widowmaker's out, and now Team Rampage can get a lot more in the face, but Andromeda's losing his mech and then dying is not going to look good, but with the Lucio falling, Team Rampage can still come out on top. It is trade after trade here. The tanks are still alive, the supports are still alive. Things are getting a little messy, but Team Rampage is going to come out on top of this, and it looks like they will successfully be able to cap that point.
Yeah, as soon as you get that first pick when you're a dive team, you're usually able to snowball things. And against this team that really needs every single member to deter that dive from getting its value, you're going to get a lot of more space to just run around them and do whatever you want, especially with losing someone like a Widowmaker. Disease is going over to that Ashe now, which to me makes a lot more sense as well, but still will have trouble keeping that dive off them.
Yeah, the re-engage starting now with them flanking around the back line. Cream Team going around the point to get to the underneath, but with the dive getting the high ground and the nano boost connecting very early to take out Disease, an immediate 5v6. This is going to be a really difficult fight for Cream Team to win, especially if Derpy gets this Primal Rage. If he can primal them off the map or just stall for any amount of time, it's going to be very, very valuable. They are going to have to rotate back as Disease being picked out like that was really not good for the team to run into. They're going to have to keep moving forward and keep trying to get as much value as they can out of these ultimates, but it's going to be difficult because like I said, the dive on the high ground is going to get a lot more value than this double shield on the low ground. The double shield works out much better if they can hold on to the point, but with two picks immediately coming through from the Rampage, they're already halfway to capping the point, and this fight's already over. They've got the ultimates, but they're not even going to have to use them. With three picks very quickly, they did a very quick fight for the Rampage to take home.
Yeah, and it seems like there's just no room for them to really look around and check out where the dive is going to come from. So now they're going in with this Rapidic Flux.
Being committed very early. The Pulse Bomb was committed at the end of that fight as well. They kind of look like some panic ultimates coming out of Cream Team here, just trying to get a lot of value. Andromedas was caught out of that mech and will be rocked away, but with Gummit falling, that's much more dangerous. The attacking team not having a support is much worse than the defending without one of their tanks. They're going to move forward. A massive nade coming in from Taijidu. The Primal Rage will be popped from Derpy. If he gets one or both of these heroes off the map, it's going to be an absolute very quick win. He does get the Primal Rage very early on with 3 kills again already from the Rampage. The point was flipped, being 30% away. They just have to cap and win one more fight, which we've seen them win every fight so far, so this seems like it's going to be a pretty easy wrap-up for the Rampage here.
Yeah, Cream Team doesn't really have anything to say about this map so far. They're just not getting in there. They're not able to deter the dive in any way, shape, or form. Disease gets that kill to Mui here. They could potentially get in here.
The rally's going to have to be popped. They're going to have to find a pick here if they want to get value, but Disease picks Sark as well with both the DPS missing. They finally get Disease out of the way. A Shatter does come through, connects with Zero. The bomb coming from Andromedas is also going to connect with Zero. Things are going to get a little bit sloppy. The ultimates, nobody touches the point. They were so focused on getting the kills that it looks like Rampage just gets to hold on to that point a little bit longer, and that's all they needed.
Score.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say it was a perfectly executed dive, but it was definitely long and far enough to just get the double shield out of the way. So the double shield didn't really do anything. They sort of stood there, and the sustained group up wasn't really happening. There was a lot of out in the open fights, a lot of we don't really know what we're focusing on, don't really know where they're going to come from, happening from Cream Team there. So yeah, Rampage just running away with it, really. And now they're going to swap over to their own double barrier. So it's going to be a double barrier matchup. But that Echo from Sark versus that Sweet Sweet Reaper, that will be the interesting one to look at. Because can you get close enough to do the damage with that Reaper? Will the Echo just out-damage you from far?
Sark's going to have to keep an eye on his tanks for sure. I have to agree with that, because if Sweet does get that value, Sark's not going to be getting the value in the sky that he wants if he's missing all of his tanks. The engage is going to happen on the point with, once again, Cream Team is going to get onto the point very quickly. Taijutsu on the Zenyatta, immediately taken out by a Flame Strike. The charge is pinned by Andromedas's Rock, but they are going to be able to hold this point just a little bit longer. It looks like they're going to be on the point when it opens up, and with support missing for Team Rampage, they are going to have to move back and let them get a very early cap onto the point. Immortality Field is committed just to the survival of the fight, not even to win it, but Andromedas is caught out on the side by Sweet. He's not down yet, but Sweet is chasing him into the backline. He will confirm that kill. Immortality Field is now gone. They've probably got about 25 seconds till another one does come out. And it looks like Cream Team's going to get really aggressive here. The fight's not over quite yet, but with Jerpy falling, Sweet falling as well, Rampage might be able to flip this around here. They're trading 1-for-1. Immortality Field committed, but Disease finding the pick on MayLu. That's exactly what they're going to need. You're going to have to ask, is Taijutsu going to swap off that Zenyatta here, as he's been picked twice practically at the beginning of these fights?
It's a very easy hero to get there. They always say the headshot on Zenyatta, the only thing that's easier to hit is that Orisa on the head. But I don't know. Like it feels like the Zenyatta could do a lot, because that damage orb is just so devastating. The Discord orb buff has really brought him back.
The re-engage is going to happen. We've got double shield versus double shielder with a very early window coming out from both Baptistes. The Bob being committed as well. Immortality Field is live, which is making Bob completely useless. Both Immortalities go down. Cream Team is going to come out on top, even though they lost their Reinhardt. The Bob cleans up the kills they needed, and Disease on that Ashe, much better than Disease on that Widowmaker. He absolutely carried that fight with his ultimate. They always say Ashe is a walking ultimate, and that Bob was here to prove it. That was a very quick fight, and it looks like Cream Team's going to hold on to this point for just a little bit longer.
You do see Taijutsu getting those 2 kills at the end there. It's a bit of a statement. Like, Zenyatta is still pretty devastating if you try and fight him one-on-one. And it's still true. 70% though, you gotta start having to do something, but there's so many ultimates online for them, including that Bob, that will hopefully do something for them. I don't see this fight going the way of Cream Team, but I'm happy to be surprised.
Cream Team's already committed that Immortality Field as well, but I have to agree, things are looking rather bleak for them in this fight. They've got the Rally, they've got the Bongo, they've got the Death Blossom here, but with 5 ultimates coming out of the side, the Bob and Gravitic Flux flying out in the front of the road. Here they come, Bob flies into the team. Gravitic Flux, I thought was used, but excuse me, was not. Bob gets picked immediately. There's the Gravitic Flux, picks up 4. It could be massive if there's no more Immortality. Zark finds a pick, Movie finds a pick, and as we predicted, it looks like the Rampage may finally be able to flip this point into their favor. It's ticking over. Sark did commit that transformation as well. He gets the Death Blossom, but he will transform back before he really gets to use it. Team Rampage cannot afford to lose another fight, or they will have to give the map over to Cream Team and take us to a map 3.
They use 3 ultimates in that fight, which is plenty. You know, if you want to win a fight, they still have 2 left. 2 good ones as well, Transcendence and Supercharger, pretty good ultimates. And even the Death Blossom was used there from Sweet, Supercharger as well, and they didn't really get any value out of either. Sweet got stunned or killed straight away, the Death Blossom went off. And the Supercharger never really got the value that it needed. I think it was destroyed pretty early as well.
The Bob being committed very early from Disease. It's going to go right into the back line, and now the Rampage have to decide where do they want to put their focus. A massive shatter comes through, but a bigger Transcendence from Taijutsu is going to be helpful here. The pin does not connect, and the Ryan is now out of place. He's being caught out on his own. Nairu's going to get eliminated, possibly, but his supports are right there to help him clean up, and that's the fight that Cream Team needed to take us to map 3 of our first map here.
And it's wise they didn't use that many ultimates in the fight before that, because if they had committed even more than that to try and win it out, they had a few in the bank, basically, then you might lose that fight after, and then you get into that 99-99 territory, and do you then have the tools to work it out? So ultimate conservation, I'd say it was on par for both teams, but if you win that first fight and then get it to 70%, obviously you're going to do a little bit better in that fight after, because you can just save the ultimates up to win that one fight. Exactly what Cream Team did. And now going over to Mecha Base, judging from the past 2 maps, I would potentially give the edge to Cream Team. But now that we see this May Reaper competition potentially come out with sort of a Moira rush added to it, I don't know if they're going to be ready for that on the side of Cream Team.
The May Reaper is definitely going to help break through that double shield, and if Mui or Sark can get into the background, into the back line, and put more pressure onto Disease, I really think the Rampage could flip this. I have to agree, it looks like Cream Team might have a slight advantage, but if they can really put Disease on keep him on his toes and get a little more pressure onto him, they may get the advantage here over Cream Team. Instead, the wall does come out from Sark very early. We've got the Doomfist is coming out from the side of Cream Team. Dynamite connects as well. It's going to be big. A lot of ult charge. Derpy already halfway to that shatter. Nayru as well, not far behind. Nayru connects the pin, but Derpy does counter the pin as well. Nayru drops to less than half health, and there's just a lot of cooldowns coming out here. Nobody's got their ultimates yet. Mui does find the very early kill onto Sweet. That's the exact pick they needed to push forward. Christie falling as well. This is the exact pick the Rampage needed. They're going to push forward. They have the Coalescence here, and they almost have Shatter as well. A counter charge again coming from Derpy. That's 2 in a row just to keep that Reinhardt in check, and it looks like the Rampage are going to clean up that fight very quickly. That's exactly what they needed to do.
Yeah, and it makes so much sense as well. You run in with the speed boost onto a May wall, and then the Reaper and the May can just destroy everything in close range together with Reinhardt, who has a bubble in his back. So yeah, I mean, you can have double barrier all you want, but if they can just run through your barriers, what are they really useful for?
The barrier's really not going to be that important. Like you said, the bubble keeping Derpy alive. He got so much value farming his shatter out of that fight. All he could do was just hold left click, and now he's got him walking right into this corridor. The Coalescence comes out. Gummy already gone. The shatter comes from Derpy, gets a couple, but does not get the value he's looking for. The freeze connect onto Nayru. Both supports are gone. The main tank as well. The Rampage are going to clean up this fight without much of a contest. Sweet does find Taijitu, but Taijitu will make it back to the point almost as fast as the entire enemy team. The only person who can make it back faster would probably be Malrad, who ended up not falling.
Looking good so far this round of Busan here for Team Rampage. They are a little bit down on ultimates, but having that Graviton sound barrier, I mean, they have plenty of combo potential with that Blizzard too. It's still going to be a rough one to fight into, even if you have that one ultimate up.
The Graviton Surge is now online. The Blizzard's going to come out and is eaten by Weavy. It was kind of a risky Blizzard, but it wasn't worth it as Sark falls very quickly. They are going to commit the Graviton Surge, but the Gravitic Flux coming from the Cream Team as well. The beat is forced out by Malrad, and it looks like the Rampage are on top for the moment. They're just trading back and forth. The window from Gamit being connected as well. Sweet getting a double kill with his ultimate. You don't see kills with that ultimate often, but to see 2, it's absolutely phenomenal. Cream Team committing every ultimate they had, as did the Rampage. The Rampage are now slightly in an ult advantage, but Cream Team's going to wipe this point and just move forward. If they can move up fast enough with Gamit already down, they can get to this point and recontest.
Yeah, they will be able to definitely recontest. Obviously, they have plenty of time, and they only need to really win one fight. With Derpy almost having that shatter, that could just be the one ultimate they need, and it's going to be all about that shatter matchup because no one else is really anywhere close.
Oh, so early, and the shatter connects on 2. Absolutely phenomenal performance. The Immortality field was committed, but missed the entire team. It was a bit of a panic throw across the football field as we see Gamit was still on the side of his team's spawn. 80%. Rampage has to win one more fight, and they are up in the ultimate advantage with the Coalescence. They can keep their team alive and afford to get a little bit more aggressive with 2 falling that late in the fight, 10%. Cream Team's not going to get a full reset. We see they're moving underneath the map. They're going to try to recontest late. Sweet is here. He's going to wait till the overtime tick begins, and he's going to force this point into overtime. Dirty Jumps very low in health, has to use these shields, has to use all 3 cooldowns just to try to make it out, but it's not going to. Malrad finds him. The shatter connects onto 3 from Nayru. It's going to be a big shatter. Sark falling, Disease getting a pick onto Derpy as well, but Taijitu cleans up Christie. Mui gets immediately killed. He pops the Death Blossom, but it's not going to be enough. Cream Team just living on a prayer here. Looks like they're going to be able to flip this point back in their favor, but it's not quite over yet. Andromedus and Malrad still dancing around that point. Malrad on his own in a 1v3. He's just stalling as long as he can, but at this point, he might as well get out as they've got plenty of time to recontest after this fight.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of overconfidence, maybe got a bit overzealous there, because you know that they're going to be able to recontest. You know they're going to do it with a few heroes, and I think they got a little bit too complacent, and we're never actually expecting the shatter from Nayru anymore. You got to be ready for that. You cannot get shatter like that when you've got that advantage coming up.
Nayru used his shatter after Derpy and is now in the lead on the shatter charge. Even if it's just by a little bit, he did afford to get a little more aggressive and get that charge. The ball is actually turning out to be a very good pick for Cream Team as well. I thought it was kind of an unusual one when we first started. The Doom is going to fly all the way into the backline. The Blizzard connecting from Sark here, and Nayru does get frozen. If they can eliminate Nayru, which has been done, Sark eliminated as well, but Team Rampage is up by a single pick. It looks like they could turn this around if they can get a little bit more aggressive. The Graviton Surge connected onto point. Christie's going to fall right now as well. Rampage, they are 99%. This may be exactly what they needed. This may be what needed to be done just to win this point. The Boop does come through from YB as does the ultimate, but he does fall. The Coalescence from Taijitu, mostly to clean up those mines. Nayru not having that shatter quite yet, but one more hit on this one. No, Mui does pick up both Disease and Nayru. Sweet as well. The Rampage are literal seconds away from winning this first map and putting them at a 1-map advantage over Cream Team here. No, Gamit does touch point, and Weeby is back already. The Coalescence come through, but Andromeda says not today. The drop comes through from Weeby. He falls as well. Louis uses that Death Blossom mostly just to zone off the point. Sark walling off the underneath. Nairu being caught by the wall. Overtime slowly but surely ticking away. Sweet's going to be able to connect. Nairu hits another massive shatter, but the beat from Malarat is again going to be bigger, picking up 5 of the 6. Sark falls. Sweet falls. Nairu falls. Rampage still coming out on top, committing a lot of ultimates. The solo shatter onto Christie, and the Rampage successfully take the first map.
That would have been such hubris if they would had lost that fight to that second shatter from Nairu. I was waiting for it. Like, he's behind the wall. He's gonna shatter. And are they gonna be ready for it? Turns out they weren't ready for it, but at the end it luckily didn't matter. But that's twice in a row they would have been caught out by that shatter from Nairu.
Nalarad was definitely
maybe that's something to think about.
That second time around, he had that beat prepared. There was no more gravitic flux to watch out for, so he held on to that beat in just long enough, I think, and that was really going to be the factor for the Rampage there. That beat really saved him at the end.
Exactly, because imagine not having beat and then they just go in there.
That could have gone very poorly.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good start of this game so far. I mean, Team Rampage looking like they have a little more of the flexible edge. They know what they want to play on which points. Cream Team seems to be slightly more stuck in their ways. Not necessarily that saying that that's a bad thing. Obviously, like mastering certain 1 or 2 compositions can obviously be a very strong thing to do, and you can edge out teams when you mirror match in those situations. But if Team Rampage is going to refuse to ever mirror match you, aside from that one time on Sanctum or Sanctuary, which is the sort of mirror match there, then I do think Team Rampage will have the flexible and adaptable edge that they need to deal with Cream Team. So going into the next match types, going into Escort specifically, I don't know if Green Team is going to have what it takes, but at least the strategic element will come back into play a bit more. The chaos of control will be left behind, and that is where the real brain power is going to start ticking out.
I have to agree that the Rampage definitely, the second map, things looked a little bit sloppy. I was getting a little concerned, but they really came back to life on that third map, and it's taking that mirror match. You're right. The Rampage refused to take it. We saw it just a little bit on Busan there, but it's overall they seem to swap to make sure they're not running that mirror match and that they're running a couple more or unpredictable picks rather.
Yeah, and going into Rialto, it seems like I'm going to expect this to be a good map for Cream Team. It's a very good map for the double barriers, good map to play the Ashe on. But on the other hand, I do worry that if Sark is just going to be able to play the Echo again, and potentially Dive is going to get played by Team Rampage again, they could just get run over. Because Dive has been fairly popular on Rialto of late. It's always been known as this Reinhardt or like Orisa, or at least shield heavy, more sustain map. But with the coming of Echo and all those buildings you could just zoom and zap around, that singular linear hold that you can normally do on Rialto isn't really present anymore, especially on point A. So it's going to be dangerous if they really want to keep on rolling with this, that they can be susceptible to a dive.
I have to agree. I don't know if you saw yesterday's game, but we saw a lot of Junkrat play on Rialto, and it was very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw a lot of Junkrat play, and it really did seem to help. It was an interesting pick, and overall was very helpful. I can't remember the player's name, but they got so many early picks on the enemy team that it was almost a complete, just full hold, a complete wipe.
Yeah. Our jolly old Australian definitely knows what's up when it comes to throwing the chaos in. And I like seeing Junkrat played every now and then. Of course, it's a bit of a situational pick, and it can work really well. I still love playing Junkrat on Anubis defense. It's because it's so hard to get past. Somehow it never really took off on Paris. Every single time I see Junkrat on Paris, he gets like his ultimate up when they're on point B and not on point. But yeah, I really like playing Junkrat on certain maps. I don't know if I would categorize Rialto as the typical Junkrat map, but there's definitely areas, especially around point A, where it can work really well. And point 3, of course.
Point A is going to be where he thrives, I think, the most. Point 3 is going to be a good one, but it's going to be difficult because you'll have to swap toward the end because he only gets value in that last little room. As we mentioned, Rialto is our next map with the Rampage starting on the attack, which puts Cream Team on the defense. Things are going to get interesting here, and I think you're right, ManofClass. I think we are going to see a dive comp coming from the Rampage. It's something we've seen they're pretty comfortable with. It's not the cleanest in the world, but we've seen that it is very effective.
It doesn't have to be the cleanest in the world right now, because it's all about how the enemy team plays against it or plays around it. And if they're not playing cleanly into your dive, then your dive doesn't have to be as clean either. So from the current meta perspective, most would agree that a perfect dive would be the strongest thing in the game right now. But that's also predicated on the other team playing, you know, the perfect anything else. So
Right.
even a perfect double barrier doesn't deal with a perfect dive. But neither of these teams are executing anything perfectly. So that whole theory kind of goes out the window. It doesn't really work. Does look like we're going to have a Pharah defense here with a
Yeah, we're seeing an interesting defense.
attack.
I have to agree. We've got the Echo on the attack, but the defense is playing the more aggressive double shield comp, where the Sigma Orisa is a little bit more defensive, and then the Rhino Orisa can get a little more aggressive. So it's interesting to see that although Cream Team may be on the defense, they're looking to get aggressive here and hold this first corner as quickly as possible. We do see the pull come out from Weavy trying to get a pick off the map, and Disease is on that far, but Mui's on that Ash, and if Mui can land these shots onto the Pharmacy, it's going to be worthless. Tajidu back on that Zenyatta. Weavy finds a very early pick on Derpy, and with no mercy there to really resurrect him, they are going to have to probably push back into their spawn already. The Immortality Field destroyed by Stark. They're just holding S here, trying to get back as Cream Team is going to get value of the cart, and they're going to gain control of the cart and the bridge, which is going to not be good as Weavy has the boop, Disease has the boop. If Nairu lands the charge, he can get somebody off the map as well. As predicted, Andromedas almost falls off the map. He's booped by Disease, but pulled back onto the bridge by Weavy. A very unfortunate miscommunication from the team, as that pick onto the Sigma could have won them another 20 seconds of cart control. The Rampage are going to get a little more aggressive, already committing their Immortality Field. They've made it past the bridge, which is the important part now. If they can stay over here, that's really going to be the window they need to keep moving into this point. Ultimates already from both teams, almost a big pull comes through Derpy. The window coming out as well from Gamit. Disease has that barrage, but he's going to have to find the area to use it with Tajidu falling. No Transcendence is there to be worried about. Malorad falling as well. The Rampage losing both of their supports. They've already lost this fight. They are going to have to hold S once again and get out of there.
Yeah, ultimates are going to be coming online now. Of course, a few were already used, especially that window from Gamit. Slightly misplaced, if you ask me. Couldn't really have a Fire Strike value through that, for instance. But now we will see the window ready for Malorad, actually. Andromeda's ready with a Gravitic Flux. Almost duplication and a Transcendence as well. So ultimates are definitely there for Rampage now. But they have to fight into some of their own.
The window coming out from the Rampage, as predicted, but Malorad falls right away. A Shatter's coming through, a lot of ultimates. 3 ultimates connected. They're going to win the fight, but at what cost? As they just gave up their entire ultimate advantage. They won the fight, but there's still 2 minutes on the clock. I think we talked about the Rampage getting a little bit cocky, showing a little bit of hubris toward the end of that last map, but I think this time it's Cream Team committing a couple of ultimates. Just 3 feels like way too many. They're the Shatter and the Dragons both being used, both great zoning ultimates. The Rampage can afford to move a little bit further forward now that they have that Transcendence as well, but Malorad's just getting picked by Disease every time he walks out of spawn. You've got to ask, why is he still on that Baptiste? It's not getting the value they're looking for. He almost passively charged his ultimate because he can't make it out of spawn. Rampage has to move back again. They're barely getting this cart anywhere with 90 seconds left on the clock. You've really got to hope that they're living proof that this map can be turned around. With such an aggressive hold coming from a defending team, the attackers are at a serious disadvantage.
They want to make a play around Sark. They want to send Sark around the side, but it's not really working. There's the Bob and the Orisa duplication.
The Orisa dupe comes through, as does the Bob, the Bongo, and the window being committed from Cream Team, as well as the Valkyrie. They're now dumping the ultimates they have. Mui's Bob does fall very quickly, but that was the space they needed. They've now made it around the corner, and one more good pick. The pull from the Orisa into the Gravitic Flux was massive, as they have no beat, they have no ultimate to negate all of that damage. They've taken a lot of damage, but the Dragons are ready once again. The Valkyrie finally ends. Disease finds Sark. Sark may have to swap onto something else just to get quick value. The Dragons straight down Main Street. Malorad taken out very quickly again. Disease eliminates Mui as well. 45 seconds left on the clock. This may be the Rampage's swan song here. They may have to end this right here, right now, as Cream Team is just absolutely relentless in this defense. And it shows that aggressive shield comp. They chose that aggressive double shield is proving to be very much worth it, as well as an invaluable Pharah pick here. The Pharah hasn't died a single time.
No, but they got Christie now, so they're going to be able to take out that Pharah without her relying on that Mercy healing. Andromedas will go over to the Diva, Derpy over to the Winston. Now they're going with a dive. But they really...
20 seconds left. They just gave up a lot of ult charge.
Yeah, but I mean, the scariest part about it is that Disease has kept this barrage in the pocket forever. So if Andromedas is just ready for that, that's not going to get any value. Malorad, but there is a immediately taken out by Disease
again. Malorad cannot make it across that bridge. Disease is relentless in making sure the Rampage are always down on a 5v6. The Shatter's committed, but a bubble from Derpy. Fantastic reaction time, takes it out. Sark finds Nairu. The Rampage might still be able to turn this run. There comes the barrage, taking out Taijinu. Both supports are now dead. He finds the DMAC onto Andromedas as well, but Derpy taking out the most damage on the side of Cream Team might be exactly what they needed. They've got a serious spawn advantage here here as well. But if the resurrection comes through from Christie, it'll spell danger, it'll spell disaster here. Christie falls as well to Sark, and in overtime, what I call the Overwatch factor is finally kicking in. The Rampage are finally starting to play the game again. Sark getting a quadruple kill. Absolutely fantastic performance on that Echo. A lot of the game, he just took a long time to get where he needed. He just needed to get that warm-up in so he could really start to show his value on that Echo and get the damage he needed. With Disease out of the sky, Sark had all the free reign in the air to do as much damage as he wanted with very little risk of dying.
Oh, don't get wrecking balls. Don't get thrown out the cart by just a puny little hamster. Oh, MayLu is trying. MayLu's trying, but it's not really going to work. But that does mean they only have the Orisa shield now. That's a lot less shield than they had before.
And they sacrificed the ult charge. He gets the boops again, but he's not knocking them up high enough to get them off the cart. They're still close enough for it to count. A massive anti-nade coming from Tajidu. The Immortality field being committed as well. We have to get Disease out of the air here, or the Rampage is going to end up losing this map. If Disease is able to farm it. No, there he goes with a pulse bomb from Mui. 3 taking out Andromeda with the double kill of his own. Sarkweek swapped onto that Pharah and just used the ultimate more as crowd control than anything. The ball, MayLu playing the spin to win strategy, but it won't be enough. Team Rampage, after 4 minutes of almost a completely full hold, they do cap the first point and will move forward toward the second.
And now begs the question, is dive just a detriment of Cream Team? Maybe they just cannot deal with dive, especially with that Mui Sark. Like, if they have multiple DPS or multiple units attacking from different angles, you got to be very ready for that as a team to deal with that. If the timing is correct, there's almost no way to deal with it. We talked about it before, how dive is just so good right now if you execute it properly.
The nano boost being committed on Derpy very early, but Andromeda's getting danger close to losing that mech. Derpy pushes in very quickly, trying to confirm any kills, but he does bait out the Immortality field. Dragon's committed from the Hanzo as well from Cream Team. They get 0 value. I don't think they got a hit marker. It was a great zoner to separate the team, but with the healing on point and Derpy chasing goat controls into the back line, Tajidu finds a pick on Weavy of all people. The Ana takes out the Orisa. The Primal Rage just has to be committed from Derpy. He's still trying to kill the Hanzo, but the Baptiste will not let him die. This Hanzo is immortal at this moment until that Baptiste is gone. Pulse Bomb committed from Movie as well. Sark takes the Far Mercy out of the sky on his own, eliminates both of them, and Gummy not far behind Derpy, finally connecting that kill onto Goat controls. A minute and a half, but they're getting danger close to capping that second point. Cream Team probably shaking in their boots right about now.
Moving on.
Yeah, the barrage is ready again. Maybe they'll get another 2 kills with that, but Disease really needs to get a lot of value, and it's so much harder now that there's so many more people spread out, and a D.Va that even wants to eat it as well. What are you even going to do with the barrage? Get 1 kill? Maybe.
No, Sark takes Disease out of the sky with the beat coming from Malaret as well. They're ready to full commit to this fight. Christie does find the resurrection, but the Bongo is not far behind. Sark transforms into the McCree on the side of Goat Controls, who swapped off that Hanzo. Derpy takes out Goat Controls with a 5v6 advantage from the Rampage here. And a barrage coming from Disease. Disease taken out, but a double bomb from Andromeda is exactly what they needed to get. The nano boost committed onto Sark, kind of unusual, but you have to assume that he was just losing a little bit of value, possibly losing his health. Another point, almost 4-minute hold into getting 2 full points with 2 minutes on the clock. The Rampage are not here to mess around. It took them a little while to get warmed up, but with this dive comp, they are rolling Cream Team right now.
This is the hardest part to make dive work, though. This is going to be the one where you're going to hold on for an ultimate or 2, but if this first fight doesn't work out, you might just want to swap for the raw value of double barrier. They're going to go in with a pulse bomb, though, so the opening pick could really open everything up.
The re-engage starting already. Cream Team having a massive spawn advantage. The pulse bomb finding no kills, but a little bit of value, taking that Orisa down to half health. She's back up. Disease taken up, and as is Tajidu, the attacking team losing that support is going to be much more dangerous. The high noon comes from Goat Controls. He gets 0 confirmation with any of those kills, but he takes out Mui with a flashbang. He must have hit him with at least a little bit of that kill. Nairu gets the whole hog onto Sark with a minute and a half left. The Rampage do have time to reset, and Cream Team used all their ultimates there. They got a little bit too cocky, maybe didn't understand how much time was left on that timer, because 60 seconds is at least one more good push with a panic push to follow.
You know what? I always say cupidity is the danger of any Overwatch player, so it's good that they didn't actually use, like they didn't actually save too many ultimates, because they also know that Rampage doesn't really have that much going on. They might have duplicate, they might have a sound barrier, and a supercharger on your side, so there's not that much danger in using those ultimates, I'd say.
If they get moving into this back line here, this can really turn the fight around, but right now it's a pretty stale 6v6, a lot of spread. The Hog finds a hook on a Tajidu, who drops a crit in the back line, but the Hog's now caught on his own. He's purpled, immediately eliminated by Tajidu. That's a huge pick, as one of the tanks missing is going to be great for the attacking team. Derpy falling very, very low, danger low. The beat is going to have to be forced out by Malaret. The Bongo coming out from Sark, who is transformed into the Orisa. Goat Control's falling as well. Christie not far behind. This is exactly what they needed. Mui got the value I predicted. He got the double kill. Sark is just relentless on this Echo as well. 20 seconds, whether they get the 3rd point or not, they've made it so much further than anybody else expected. Absolutely
Yeah,
phenomenal performance.
It was really that triple life play from Sark there, right? Just flew in, then transformed, then, you know, so that was all the distraction, all the resources used, and now they're going to go into the last fight.
The rally immediately gone from Derpy Gummy taken down as well. They no longer have supports. The Rampage just living on a prayer. They turn around a fight that should have been lost at least 8 minutes ago. This is absolutely phenomenal. They came to life at the last possible moment, and they're actually going to cap all 3 points on Rialto.
It's almost like they said, guys, we're just going to try double shields until we get to the last possible fight, then we swap to dive and just win. And I mean, even if that wasn't their strat, that's pretty much what happened. As soon as they swapped to the dive tanks, as soon as they created more distractions and more chaos and more space with that, for Sark just and also Mui to a degree, start doing their job on that Echo and that Tracer, everything just opened up because Sark had a very hard time getting around the double barrier, getting into a position where they could deal with the enemy DPS or even the tanks or maybe the supports. They couldn't really get on top of anything, and that's because the front line and the back line even from Rampage wasn't posing enough of a threat to the aggressive defense. So Cream Team was just stomping their front line, meaning that the Echo had nowhere to go and was just taken out time and time again. So I liked seeing them go for the dive, but I do definitely understand why on the defense they will just go for this double barrier, and that Ashe Echo is going to be, I mean, very hard to deal with, honestly. Disease has to do such a great job of immediately taking out Mui, and then still has to hope that that's going to be enough. They will have, obviously, Christie with them on that Mercy, which Mui doesn't have that damage boost, but
they are going to end up running that, like you said, that Pharmacy. I don't think it's going to get the value they're hoping, because I think a big part of the reason the Rampage was losing is because they expected Mui to take out the Pharmacy. But as soon as Sark turned his sights as well, Disease got almost no value for the rest of the game. The fight is going to begin very soon. A big dynamite coming from Mui. That's exactly what they're looking for. They don't really have the boop ability. It's going to be a little uncomfortable here. There's going to be a very difficult push here for the Rampage, as they're going to have to play these corners a little more defensively. They've, again, got the more defensive double shield comp, so Cream Team can really get more aggressive here with this Reinhardt. They can push forward. The Baptiste is going to put out more healing. The Baptiste Mercy, excuse me, over the Baptiste Zenyatta, with Zenyatta's ultimate being more valuable. The Mercy keeping Disease high in the sky. It's going to be really difficult. Disease does find the pick onto Mui. Mui falls very early. A 5v6 is not going to look good for the Rampage here. They did connect all 3 points, but if it's done faster by Cream Team, they're once again going to be on the losing side of the map. Sark finds a pick onto Weeby. It's a 5v5 now, but with a little bit of a spawn advantage. It's not going to look good for either team here. They've got a little, I say spawn advantage, but it's going to be close, as Mui's already back to the fight halfway to that Bob, and Bob's going to be exactly what they need to stall this point even longer than they're looking for. Tajidu with the melee kill onto Goat Controls. Goat Controls only 60% to that ultimate versus Mui 50%, but Ashe's charges so much faster. Sark transforms into the Mercy. I'm going to assume that was unintentional, possibly a misclick or a fat finger of the ultimate, but Malorad doesn't care. He's going to pick up 2 kills of his own. Mui taking Disease out of the sky. This is perfect, possibly just for that extra healing, that damage boost onto Malorad. A very unusual play from Sark, but one that really showed to pay off.
Yeah, Sark's going to stick on this Echo as well. Obviously, cannot even change. And now we will see the double barrier come out from Wavy and Nairu going for the Sigma Reinhardt. They want to just do more damage, I guess. They want to have the stun potential. I don't even know, but we do need Go Control switching over to the Widow, which is the more interesting swap. Will that help against the Echo?
Oh, the Graviton Surge comes through, excuse me, the Gravitic Flux comes through here, and it's going to connect very few kills with the Immortality field. It did force out the commitment of the Immo field here. The high ground Baptiste hiding in the backline. Malorad using that Immortality field as well as Disease is trying to find him in the backline, but no, Andromedus finds Disease instead with a triple kill coming from the Rampage. They're doing exactly what Cream Team did to them. They're not going to let them get around this corner without a serious fight. They did put themselves at an ultimate disadvantage. They're now about to have 2, almost 3 online, but Sarkweek is relentless with another triple kill in the kill feed. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, nice cleanup there, and Goat Controls. That is where we're really looking right now, because they're supposed to be dealing with either the Ashe or Sark on the Echo.
Sark takes out Gamete. I agree that Goat Controls is really the only thing to counter Sark right now, but Sark takes out Gamete. They force the Resurrection out, so now if they eliminate Disease, it's going to get sloppy. That's going to be at least a 10 to 15 second time. Goat Controls does connect the kill onto Sark exactly as needed. Nairo with another shatter in the back line, but Tajidu's there with the Transcendence. You almost have to wonder, was it worth it as only one person was shattered? I respect the commitment to keeping all your teammates alive, but now they don't have that. If another ultimate like the Barrage comes through, they're going to have to stun or eliminate Disease as fast as possible. Bob does come out. He's going to hug onto the cart. Nairu does stall him off, but not far enough away. He will stall the cart all on his own. in front of the shield onto the cart. They're going to stun him. The barrage in the backline takes out MayLu, but Derpy says not today, Disease. Disease will fall. Sarkweek onto the Reinhardt, already has that shatter. He takes out Gamit and he has the shatter. It's going to connect with very little. It's just the tanks and the Mercy on point with one more good push. The Valkyrie is connected, but Taijutsu finds the pick on Nairu. That's exactly what the Rampage needed here. Wavy kind of caught out on his own. The Valkyrie's going to end any second, and the Sigma does not have the mobility. Sark gets in Go Control's face and says, you've got to hit these shots to take me out of the sky. Andromeda has the Gravitic Flux. MayLu has the window. Mui halfway to another Bob already. That's a massive ult advantage over the ultimates that Cream Team has. They've got the Widow sights, but Cream Team already knows where Rampage is at. They're not playing flanks. They're not playing backlines. They're right in your face the entire time.
Yeah, what are you going to do at this point? I don't know, but they have 10 seconds to figure it out. They have some ultimates in the bank. Maybe that...
Here comes the Gravitic. They almost should have saved it for overtime to look for that Sig 9. It would have been really valuable. They're going to confirm no kills. The window comes out. Disease takes out Mubi. A 5v6 now for the Rampage. Disadvantage here, Cream Team. No, but Nairu falls as well. Go Control takes out Sark. It's just a trade. 1-to-1 trade right now. The Gravitic Flux coming through from as well. Disease getting a double kill. Both teams now. It's going to get really risky. Andromeda's the sole Rampage player on cart. He will most likely fall. He'd have to pull out some serious OWL level plays here. Taijutsu in the backline taken out by Disease. It's looking super good here. And yes, Cream Team is going to cap that first point, basically copying exactly what the Rampage did, waiting until that literal last second to get the value they needed. And the Overwatch factor kicking in once again, playing the game when there's just no more time to play it, forcing the Rampage into a full reset.
Rampage will be ready for this, though. They still have few ultimates in the bank, and there's not a huge comp swap up coming out here from Cream Team. There's not a lot they really have to adapt to in this sense. They're still just chasing down this Widowmaker, and Goat Control's a lot of trouble. We'll get that headshot on Sark somehow.
Behind Sark very quickly. It's exactly what they needed to do. They're going to move forward to Sarkweek, no longer putting in. No, Disease finding Mubi as well. No more damage heroes for the Rampage, and they've committed the Bongo to the fight. They're going to have to find the picks here or just back up and leave the Bongo behind. It's going to be really difficult for them to get out of this fight, especially Orisa. Even though she's got 4 legs, she's one of the slowest characters in the game with no mobilities. They have to move back again with a minute 30 on the clock. This is exactly how Rampage looked the first time around. We might end up going into extra rounds a minute for every team if Cream Team pushes this in the overtime.
It's a very good possibility at this point, and it's really Go Controls have started to hit their shots, and that means that Sark is starting to get less and less value. If Mui can do that same thing where they can now utilize the Bob to cause enough distraction or enough space for themselves to get the value out of the Ashe, that's really what they need.
I agree. The ultimates are coming out. Bob being committed very early, most likely just to stall. Best case scenario right now, Cream Team walks it in with about a minute 30. Sark taking out Go Controls. This is going to look bleak here for Cream Team. They've lost one of their damage heroes, and Disease is still in that back line with that barrage, but Sark's putting the pressure on. Even if Sark doesn't confirm the kill, Disease is now focused entirely on Sark and what he's doing. It's exactly what they need, as both the Mercy and the Pharah are fighting one hero on the Rampage, so it's basically a 4v5 for the rest of the game.
It's going to be a very hard ask to still push through here. Of course, they got some tools in the bank, and that barrage needs to land. They could probably use the Shatter and the Gravitic Flux to get that going.
There's a good Gravitic Flux from Rampage, though. The Immortality Field from MayLu. Both Immortality Fields have been committed and eliminated. The window coming out from Gamit here. The ultimate's being thrown out. Sark swaps into the Sigma. If he can get another Gravitic Flux, possibly take this Doomfist out of the fight. Another Gravitic Flux. We're going to see 3 back-to-back. No, Sark will lose that transformation, forcing a Transcendence from Taijutsu a little bit early. Like I said, a minute and a half. Still the golden time here if they can do it. A 3-man, possible 4-man Shatter coming through. The barrage coming through as well. They're just pressing Q. To me, a little bit early. They confirm the 2 kills, but the Rampage have a massive spawn advantage and plenty of time to land more ultimates. Mubi has the Bob. He needs to throw it now or never. He gets the Bob out, but is immediately eliminated with less than a minute and a half on the clock. They need to stall this down into the overtime, or the Rampage are going to be at a disadvantage here. We thought the Rampage gave us a fantastic offense after they got the ball rolling, but no, Cream Team's here to show us they can do it just a little bit better. This is really looking to me like it might go into extra rounds with Taijutsu falling that late. Sark on the Doomfist now finally swapping off that Echo. He's got to get these kills. The Immortality Field taken out. Taijutsu swapping to Moira. This fight's going to go. No, 2 eliminations coming from the side of the Rampage. 3. Make that 3. It's going to be exactly what they need. Andromeda's falls, as does Sark. It's going to now be a trade for trade. The Rampage are still up by 1 with a massive spawn advantage, but Disease is in the sky with no contester. He's not there to be contested. No one's going to be able to take him away from this fight, which means the Rampage are going to be at a disadvantage. They swapped off the Echo, so nobody's really there to put a direct damage. They've got the Tracer to poke, but it's not going to be the value they need. The Valkyrie here is going to be popped. It's basically just press Q when you get it. Nairu falls, losing a main tank this late in the fight is not going to look good. This is the exact opposite of what Cream Team needs to have in the Rampage, turning that fight around, making it look like this may be a turnaround. They may be able to win this second map.
Such a hero play from Sark, finally going head-to-head with Go Controls on the same hero, and that mirror Doomfist just working out in the favor of Sark in the end. Disease almost got enough picks, but eventually the Wrecking Ball and the Lucio were just a bit too hard to hit, and then the spawn event just comes into play. That will be the last fight of this round, potentially of this map.
10 seconds, the ultimate's coming out. Go Controls and Disease, both of those DPS ults the pulse bomb from Moo, which is fantastic because he just swapped almost 30 seconds. It's just going to be who presses Q a little bit better. The pulse bomb connecting with none. Derpy falling to half health. The immortality field being committed from Cream Team a little early here. The window as well being committed, possibly looking to get the value. Nairu eliminates Derpy, but the beat comes out from Malorette, keeping the rest of the team alive. A very big shatter from Nairu. Gamit falling to Movie. A big barrage connects, and it looks like no, I can't even tell what's going on anymore. So many eliminations coming back to back. Sark the sole survivor, but Cream Team is going to be able to connect, then finally get the final minute. We will be going into extra on Rialto. I completely lost track of what happened. So much was going on. All phenomenal placement and ultimates from both teams there.
And now we're gonna look at who got the card further or sooner. So after 1 minute, how far was the card for both teams? And if I'm not mistaken, it was Cream Team that got it a little bit further. But then again,
have the advantage.
Yeah, but then again, when we look at Rampage, what are the chances they're just going to walk out with dive straight away and it would just be completely different first attack? So we're going to see Rampage attack first because they both at the same time. We just repeat the same half that we just had. I have a feeling, so like they're queuing up the dive right now with that Wrecking Ball instead of the Diva. But of course, on the defense, they will run with that Pharmacy once again. It's been proven to be quite a nuisance to deal with right now. And Goat Controls, I'll go over the Torbjorn. That's one we haven't seen yet tonight. I'm happy to see it, though, because Torbjorn, especially against something like a Tracer dive, is so annoying. You just get the constant barrage of those turret shots. It's just a gorgeous way to say, you want to flank? Well, no.
Yeah, no, the Torbjorn, especially Tracer having such a small health pool, she's going to really have trouble focusing that backline. Mui's going to have a difficult time getting into the backline, finding picks on supports, because that turret's always going to give away his position. You were correct. We are seeing the dive, but we're going to see a big separation here. Andromeda's already in the back line. He gets 20% of his ultimate already, but Derpy's not really there to follow up and do what needs to be done. They're getting a lot of damage out, but it's not going to be the damage they need. They're looking to find these eliminations and find these picks very early on, but they're just taking more damage than dealing. Derpy on the high ground by himself. Again, this is a very slow engagement. We're not seeing a full 6v6, but Disease with a damage-boosted direct hit onto Malorette takes him out of the sky, putting Sark at a serious disadvantage, but Disease is going to chase him down. He's not going to let him out without a fight. Sark falling very, very low. He's going to have to get in Disease's face, but Sark finds the elimination onto Disease and puts him in a spot that I don't think he can be res. That gives the Rampage a 5v6 advantage. Andromeda's in the backline on his own. The turret has now been eliminated from Goat Controls as well. Movie in that backline is predicted. Derpy falling very low, doesn't have the Primal Rage to get out of there. He is Flame Strike. Sark on that Pharah. Andromeda's falling as well. You were correct. They're going to get held basically exactly where they were held last time. The Torbjorn pick, a very unusual one, but a valuable one. They were there, but they weren't on the cart. They barely make it around that first corner, and we're going to have to see an insane hold from the Rampage to not lose this map.
And it was so close to turning in their favor, but they slightly mistimed their air dominance versus ground dominance fight. Because as soon as Disease went down on that Pharah, you have air superiority. No one's going to be able to change that. The Torbjorn turret might shoot it a little bit, but you're fine. You know, Sark has the Mercy with them. They'll be good. So you have air dominance, and then you need to start exerting that pressure in order for your tanks to then also be able to go in and finish off kills. The tanks went in a bit too early. Sark wasn't ready to support them just yet, so they kind of threw away the air advantage and lost the ground battle as a result. And yeah, the ground battle is where the objective is, so they got pushed off. The tanks died, and then time ticked away. But now that they're going to the defense, I mean, why not play the Mei? I think that's a very smart choice. Just play the Mei, play the McCree, play the Reinhardt Zarya. They might even hold them in spawn. I think if you're really smart, you just walk up to their spawn door and hold there.
I have to agree. Goat Controls on that offensive bastion. They have to make sure he doesn't get on that card, or that's going to spell disaster here for the Rampage. They don't have that far. They can't get as high up in the sky. If he actually plays it, that is correct. I do agree the Mei pick's going to be the pick to choose here. Yeah, with the doors about to open, Goat Control still on that bastion. They're most likely going to set up for that pirate ship comp and try to get him out of that card as quickly as possible, because they really don't have that far to go. They have to win one fight, half a fight. Really, they just have to be up in the numbers advantage, and they win it all. They win the map.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a Lucio. They can just speed straight away as soon as you see the bastion. Then the bridge would have been terrifying to work with. It's going to be the Fire versus the McCree in the backline. They're fighting on two fronts.
It's going to be difficult. They've definitely split the Rampage. MayLu falls first, though. That's exactly what the Rampage needed. 2 meters away from losing this map. MayLu is picked by Disease. That's not going to be good, but Go Controls is eliminated. He's got a massive spawn advantage, but now the Rampage don't have to worry about so much damage. They are able to turn this fight around successfully, and they are up in the ult economy by just the slightest bit. Mui on that McCree finally busting it out shows to me that he's got the shots, and he's going to make this fight. They've got one more push. I don't think any ultimates are going to come online. We might see a barrage from Disease here, but it's going to get sloppy for all players. Even if the high noon from Mui connects, it's not going to give us anything that we need to see. They're going to have to win this fight high and dry. It's going to be really difficult. Goat Control swapping off that Bastion onto the Reaper, most likely looking for an early pick on one of the supports. Literally 4 meters away, the Rampage have to give us the craziest hold we've ever seen right here, right now. The Immortality Field committed very early. The wall comes through, connects onto the Reinhardt. The Immortality Field eliminated the high noon from Mui, picks up none. The Transcendence from Taiju healing his team, keeping them alive. They're going to need to get a pick first. Gamid, MayLu takes out Gamid. The Shatter connects from Derpy. It's going to be exactly what they needed. They're up by 2. This is the fight. This is the insane hold we needed to see from the Rampage. The Blizzard from Starkweek. I said no ultimates. The Rampage said we're going to show you every ultimate. And in overtime, the Rampage successfully take the map over Cream Team.
So many things just barely go right there. They just get it blizzed up in time. They barely block the Shatter, or actually deny the Shatter from Naira. They died before they could get it off. The High Noon doesn't get anybody, but at least Mui doesn't die. They get away on like a sliver of HP. Like all these tiny factors that if one of those heroes dies or one of them gets their ultimate off, that's all that it's about, right? That's all you need. One pick, one thing to go your way, and then everything just turns around. But what a hold. I mean, what a hold from Cream Team before that, and then a hold from Rampage. And now Cream Team's going to be, Cream Team's going to be smacking themselves a little bit for that one. They're like, oh, we were so close and actually winning that, and then, but you know what? They tried, and they get another chance to try, of course, because it's not over until it's over. And if they get that close on a map like that, which was their map choice, if they pick another one, might actually go their way. And if I have to, okay, but if we have to pick between these 3, so if Numbani, King's Row, and Eichenwald,
it's going to be King's Row.
I don't want them to go to King's Row, though. I think
everybody
that's a mistake.
plays King's Row, though. That's what
I know, but I think it's a mistake to go to King's Row because I think you're going to be comfortable in trying to play what you want, but then they're going to pick out something weird, or you're not going to be prepared for it. Why not? I mean, you don't go Numbani because that's too divey. They can just play dive all the way through, and I think you're just going to lose at that point. So you play Eichenwald because I think you can play enough of what you like to play with the Pharah as well. That really works out, but not so much that it's King's Row where Pharah doesn't really do
as
that
predicted.
They do pick
that King's Row.
I know they're going to pick it, but I just wanted to talk about why it wasn't the right choice. I hope they prove me wrong because I want to see more Overwatch, but I do think King's Row is the wrong choice.
I have to agree.
As much as Eichenwald would have maybe been better, on the other hand, at least dive is not that great here. So that's like the great Jeff going.
But I just have this gut feeling that the Rampage, they're just gonna run them down again. They're just gonna mow them over. I don't even think that the Rampage are playing the meta. I think the Rampage are the meta in this scenario. They've just been relentless in taking
what they're gonna do. Yeah, so they're going to do the same thing they did in King's Row. They're going to go in with the Zarya Reinhardt, May Reaper, Lucio Moira, and they're just going to run at him.
I hope. Fingers crossed. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, that's what I feel like is going to happen. Rampage is starting on attack again, though, which is... so it's an interesting choice. It's been a development I've been seeing happening lately. I don't know what your thoughts on about that, but teams often, when they get to pick map side, they go defense. And... There's like a lot of good reasons for that, and it's great. But recently, I've seen more teams go attack, and I don't know how I feel about it because my status quo has been upset. First of all, but I don't really know why teams are doing it. I feel like you might use it as if you think you're going to just win a series, you might as well play attack because then you get a longer map. That's for sure true. So you at least get the opportunity to do a full attack, and I think that might be a very good reason to do it. Another reason you could do it is so you can like you set the pace. So like if you get a 3-minute time, then they have to push into that.
I think the Rampage here are gonna play like an unusual difficulty of pushing forward and just being so aggressive that I think they think we'll attack first, get it out of the way, and then we'll just full hold Cream Team. To me, that's probably what they're thinking because I mean we saw it time and time again when the Rampage are on fire. They are absolutely relentless. They are just on a rampage, as the name implies. It's insane. But I do agree that if the winning team here, if I got to choose, I'd pick the defense because to me, then you're setting your own parameters. You know how far you have to pick, and you know how far you have to get into that map to get the value and win the map. Where playing on attack, it's much riskier because you could put yourself into a losing scenario.
Yeah, and that's why they usually would pick defense. But like I said, I've seen teams more often try and go for the attack first, like as a conscious choice. And I must say, I think it's a nice, just a nice thing to maybe throw teams off balance, not really knowing what they're gonna do. It's one of those things where you're like, I don't really know what's going on here, but I like it. I like it. Change is always good. Now, if only people wouldn't stop being Kings Row, and we're all good.
Kings Row, I think it's just everyone's favorite map. It's a personal favorite map of mine. I think it's my favorite map in the game. But as what is essentially a main tank player in a Reinhardt one trick, of course I'm gonna love Kings Row.
I do disagree with saying that it's everyone's favorite map. I think it's everyone's most comfortable map.
That's a good point.
So that's both a positive and a negative, right? Because if it's everyone's comfortable map, then no one has an advantage. And you're just playing into the same thing you always do. So is it then wise to pick Kings Row? I think not. Like, develop a strat on another map that people never play, like Numbani, like, you know, maybe even Iconball and Blizzard World to a degree. Like, that's why we see those map picks come out nowadays, because everyone knows Kings Row, so it's not that interesting.
Actually, the quite interesting thing I'm seeing is that we've got Cream Team on the Rein Zarya defense, and the Rampage are on a double shield offense. Something you really don't see often. The gates haven't opened. The Rampage could completely flip everything they're looking for. It just doesn't seem that
they've seen the Rein Zarya. They've seen the Rein Zarya because they were showing. Naira's showing, Wavy showed their shield. They know it's the Rein Zarya. So if they want to change anything, this is the time to potentially still do it. But it does look like they're comfortable with that double barrier, like you said, and I wouldn't blame them. They will go with the Baptiste Zenyatta, which obviously is able to burst down that Reinhardt like there's no tomorrow. And when he only has that one shield and a bubble, it's way easier to burst him down as well. So this could potentially be a great choice for them.
They're going to push in. They're going to get a lot of free push. The Maeve throws the wall in way too late. Disease takes Sark out of the sky. Clean headshot. See you later. Back to spawn. It's going to be a 5v6 for the Rampage. Excuse me. No, Mui on a... Mui is absolutely fragging. He's on a rampage of his own, taking up both Disease and Gumit, making it a 4v5 for the favor of the Rampage with a massive spawn advantage. Immortality field from Malorad is committed, so Taijutsu eliminated Zoro as well. The Rampage go into a losing fight, and they still win it. This is the aggression I'm talking about. This is what sets the Rampage apart from all these different teams, is even in a losing fight, they wait, they're patient, they get the value they need, and they get a full 6 right there. They're going to cap in 40 seconds.
Yeah, great job. Well done. Obviously, Mui being instrumental in that, getting that double kill. Sure, you lose Sark, but Sark is always going to be that loose entity. It's kind of like having a Tracer. It's kind of like having one of those type of heroes that, you know, if they get their value, it's great, but if they don't get their value, they're not really fighting with the team. They're sort of in their own space, so there's not much you can change about it. And more often than not, their death is a distraction that can work in your favor.
Absolutely. Even if Cream Team wasn't ready for a fight, the Rampage is going to bring it to him, forcing him back to this first corner. It's going to be a great spot to hold as they can push the cart, get a lot of free card value. Disease takes Stark out of the sky again. Disease just needed that warm-up because he is nailing these shots. The first game, it was a little bit messy, but afterwards, he's not missed a shot since. Again, they're down by 1, and the Rampage are still going to come out on top. A perfectly timed window from Malorad. They're committing no other ultimates. It's not what they need to do. They know what they need to use, when they need to use it. Bob being committed, Mui almost as if he's trying to prove me wrong, throws his ultimate into a one fight, but it's going to be exactly what they need to get around this first corner and even the second corner, because breaking these corners here, breaking what I would call point 1.5 of King's Row, is going to be the hardest thing for either attacking team to do, because if they start getting stalled here, they lose the spawn advantage and they lose the ult advantage, and the defending team can set up much more comfortably around this corner. They have a much more open space to perform. A Blizzard being committed from Zoro very early, but the Transcendence, excuse me, from Taijutsu is going to be much bigger. The Immortality field being committed as well, possibly a little bit of miscommunication there. The Nano boost onto Eevee, the Bob coming out as well. The wall pins Bob in on his own, and Sark changing into the Reinhardt, but with the Bob right behind him, he's going to get no value. Excuse me, he gets a triple shatter for free. It doesn't get any value out of it, but the fact that he even landed that is phenomenal. He baited out the rally from Christie. Now they're going to lose that ultimate, and they are now down seriously in the ult economy. They push up to kill the Rampage, but the Rampage have moved back.
So many things went wrong there. The miscommunication on the nade was way too late, like into the Transcendence. Then the wall blocks the shatter of Wavy. Then Sark uses their ultimate when half their team are dead. It's just, there's so many things between these teams that are not clean at all, but that's what is beautiful about it. Just these scrappy fights.
The scrappy fights, you really don't see these at the higher level, because while it's a team of 6 communicating, occasionally people just do things on their own, and that adds this whole new level to these fights. As one wrong ultimate without communication could make or break a fight. The Rabbinic Flux from Andromedus picks up 1, picks up 3, eliminates all 3 of them. The Rampage are just going to clean this one up. That was a really clean fight. What do you think the Cream Team could have done there to win that fight, other than stun Andromedus out of that ultimate? They really got cleaned up so quickly.
I have no idea. Like, as long as that ultimate goes off, there's so much damage underneath it. The dynamite just completely messes you up. Then there's a bunch of other damage, like the sticky bombs and the focus beam from Sark, that can just clean everything up so easily. Unless you have a support ultimate there, I don't think there's much you can do about it, aside from stunning Andromedus, like you said.
Yeah, no, it's 4.5 minutes on the clock. Not the greatest time bank we've ever seen, but still a very, very good one. Asleep coming onto Derpy is going to get no value. It's just going to waste the cooldown. The Bongo around the corner. Bob's here to play as well. He gets stunned backwards, but it's not going to be what they're looking for. He's going to need to be moving forward with the Rampage, or getting the kills they need. They're doing exactly what needs to be done.
Oh no, the cleanup is going to be heavily there, and heavily in favor, of course, of Rampage. And they're not going to stop rampaging. They're going to keep going forwards. They have 3 minutes 48 on the clock, and they're still not done pushing. Zoro going down late here as the main.
Sark eliminated by Disease, though. The window coming out from Malorad. You have to think the Rampage couldn't have picked a better name, but Andromedus eats the Graviton Surge from Nairu. That's exactly what they needed to do. Even if they lose this fight, they just lost the most important ultimate they had on their side. The Transcendence. Taijutsu read the Shatter. He knew he couldn't block it, so instead he just prevented all of the damage that could have been done. Louis has the Bob. Andromedus finds a kill. Andromedus finds 2 kills. Bob is out. It looks like they're going to cap this with maybe 3 minutes. Zoro gets a kill on Taijutsu. No, in the final hour, the Swan Song will not be sung. Team Cream can finally turn this fight around in their favor. Sark swapped onto the Zarya, but I don't think he's got the team. He doesn't have the healing to get aggressive and get that ultimate. Zoro finds a pick onto Zerpy and onto Sark. 3 minutes is slowly ticking down. Cream Team turned around what should have been an impossible fight.
Sark has been sort of the ruler, of the overlord, really, of late ultimates for Echo. The duplicates come out so late when the fight's already lost, essentially. I think at that point, just save him for the next fight, or save him for a bit later. Like, look at the situation first, because that was not a great duplicate.
It was not a great duplicate at all, possibly a panic one. There's a big Rabbinic Flux here. He picks up 4, but only 2 are going to connect. Forces out the Immortality Field. Sark falls again to Disease. Disease getting a lot more worth out of that Ash when he just started focusing down the Sarks, focusing down the Echo. It's honestly incredible. They're winning these fights that, to me, should have been lost. But no, Nairu, full charge Zarya, is just being relentless. He's going to find 4K here. He's going to chase Derpy into the underworld here, chase him all the way back into spawn, and then kill him, and then kill himself to avoid the ult charge. That was a big brain play coming from Nairu. He almost farmed an entire Graviton Surge out of that fight.
I don't think they killed themselves by accident, like on purpose. I think it was because they right-clicked into the Orisa shield. They weren't expecting it. But, yeah, it's going to be exactly Graviton ready. This time, maybe it won't get eaten by Andromedus, because Andromedus has been on point with eating ultimate so far.
If Andromedus eats this Graviton Surge, that's going to spell disaster, undoubtedly here. Weavy falls very early. The Bob coming out from Disease. It picks Taijutsu. Taijutsu did not have the Transcendence. They can win this fight. The Rampage are going to still push forward. The Bob does not scare them. They take it out so early. Disease has eliminated both supports. The Rampage are not going to get this all the way to the 3rd point here. It's just nearly impossible. Disease gets coach gunned off the map. You love to see it. The ult advantage. Zoro with another Blizzard. He's going to throw it right onto the point. Most likely the Bob coming out from Mui's going to be ripped off the point. The Dragon's connecting from Sark as well. Mui gets Gummy. This is exactly what they need to do. Andromedus is frozen, but Mui does not care. The damage from Rampage are absolutely making the difference in this game with less than a minute on the clock. Zoro still stalling. The Rampage are backing for no reason. Here they come. The Blizzard is here now. They can't do anything to get out of it. They can't touch the point. But Taijutsu finds the pick onto Zoro. The Rampage 2.9 meters away. Gummy uses the ult, but it is sloppy. It hugs the cart, and Sark and Mui are carrying their team to a 3-point completion on the first round of King's Row.
Well done, Rampage. They were almost getting denied that, but so well done that they were able to not get held there.
We're gonna
honestly
have to
Rampage,
the relentless Rampage, because they are just not. You give them an inch and they take 10 miles. They are insane with this offense.
Yeah, it's gonna be Gonna be very, very hard ask for Cream Team, but then again, I do think that we've seen so many Kings Row completions. Like we said before, it's everyone's comfort map.
Absolutely.
They know how to attack it. That also means that you should know how to defend it when you're Rampage. We just saw with Cream Team how usually that defense just doesn't come in until third. If they get a good roll, if they get that first fight win on point A, it's so hard.
Zoro on the Pharah instead now. That's going to be an interesting pick, as Mui on the Ashe was just relentless. Why would they pick a Flyer? Yeah, the odds of him playing that Pharah seem very, very low to me.
True, but I mean, still though, Disease was doing so much on the Ashe. I do understand why you want to have, if you have Disease on the Ashe, why not go Pharah with Zoro? But we talked about how this is not the perfect pharmacy map. And I think that still holds true.
The first point you can get some more value, but the second and third,
maybe
those areas are so narrow that playing the Pharah it's almost impossible. The
almost suicide, right?
Corners, yeah, absolutely. The first point, before you cap, you've got a little bit of room. You've got a couple corners to play around, but most of the corners and walls are so low that just a well-placed hit scan will eliminate you. So I agree, Pharah's probably not the pick. Zoro eliminates Mui very quickly. All right, that's fine. Zoro already getting a lot of value because they don't have the Mercy to res, so the Rampage are going to have to hold a full health 5v6. It's going to be really difficult for them to do here. But if you notice, the Cream Team's a little spread out. The Pharmacy's on one side, the Ryan's on the point, the Zarya's in the back, and the Rampage, we've got 3 on point. They're all grouped up. If they can kill Weeby here, and they did just that, here we go. The Rampage are going to turn around again, a lost fight. They commit the Immortality Field, but it's going to keep them alive. They won what should have been a very quick lost fight. I think Cream Team took way too long to engage there. They lost their window.
I do also think that we've seen Christie play Mercy like 2.5 maps now. I want to see more aggressive res. If they can res Nairu there, actually Wavy, such a different thing. Yeah, but like this is a very easy res with nothing pressuring you, right? Like Wavy dies on the points. Yeah, you want to see those gutsy ones.
I have to agree. Yeah, we have not seen any gutsy plays from Christie at all, but it's difficult to successfully play those risky plays as a Mercy because when you stand still during that resurrection, it's almost a death sentence if anybody on the enemy team is still alive. The nano boost being committed onto the Reinhardt here. Mui finds the pick onto the Disease, but 2 minutes slower than the Rampage. They'll finally be able to flick the point. Mui gets the pick from onto Gamit as well. The Widowmaker is being a very worthful hero here, but he has to get out. He's got the sights already, and to be honest, I didn't even see that he swapped until he started getting those massive kills.
And of course, Widowmaker, a much more elegant hero than Ashe, not as just throw in some fire and explosions and then have a coach gun and whatever. It's just very simple. I have Widow's Kiss. I will shoot you. If I don't hit you, I don't really do much. I like that. I like that gameplay.
Absolutely. Louis uses the sights early here, trying to look for a cheeky pick in the back line, but I think it's mostly to put the Cream Team on their toes, make them a little more nervous. Playing around these corners, you don't know where the enemy team is, you don't know where the Widowmaker specifically is, and that's probably the scariest thing. They're going to commit the Bongo here. If they hold this point 1.5, it could really spell disaster for the Rampage, or excuse me, for the Cream Team. Sark swapping out of the Reinhardt. This is the spot to do it, but the fact that Cream Team's so spread out is the same reason that it shouldn't be done. It's a very dangerous play, but Derby finds the pick on Nairu, completely negating the grab. The grab again going to waste, probably the third wasted grab from Nairu in this map on King's Row. Mui playing that Widowmaker, but they're starting to put a lot more pressure on him with Zoro. That Pharmacy, Mui's going to have to eliminate the Mercy first or hit the Pharah with a double headshot to really get the value he's looking for. They find the pick, they're going to force him back. As I predicted, Rampage get that point 1.5, and they are going to be able to start holding this first corner much more successfully than Cream Team was able to during their defending round.
That means they're going to just drain the clock a little bit. But will it be enough? Because obviously, as soon as that third point comes out, they can still get a very hard of a rush and get like 3 minutes on the clock still.
Absolutely. It's definitely, they're down, but not out quite yet. The Shatter's committed, picks up 0. Mui finds a pick on a Disease, but is taken out by Zoro, who's then taken out by Sark. Andromedus has the ult, but it's picked by a Flamestrike. And as you predicted, almost like clockwork, Cream Team's going to be able to win this fight. A big anti-nade coming from Gamit here, and a nano boost onto Weevy's going to take out both Taijidu and Derpy with 3 minutes on the clock, and they're going to get more when they cap. Rampage are really going to have to swap to a bit more defensive, possibly more damage-based comp here. They're really going to have to start putting Cream Team back in their place, or we're going to go to a map 4.
Yeah, the further they get back into this map, the better it's going to be for Rampage, though. Like, the more their combo actually do. And now they've got the spawn advantage. They've got the Widowmaker being up on her perch. Actually, Mui switching over to the Ashe, which I think is not a bad choice.
Do you think maybe they just pulled this double shield comp out a bit too early and it cost them those first points?
Maybe. I mean, eventually they're going to have the ultimates now. They're going to get the value. I think that's going to work out.
Here comes your Rabbinic Flux from Andromeda here. I don't think it's going to get a lot of value, but Sark finds the pick onto Zoro. A very important pick is losing that Tracer. And we hear a Bob come out from Disease. It's going to fly into the back line, but the Rampage are on it. The Shatter connects, picks up one. The Pin picks up another, and that's really not looking good for the Rampage. 3 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock right now for Cream Team, and nobody's alive to touch this cart if they can even make it out here. We may be going to map 4.
They'll be able to make it.
I don't think
going to be
either. Malorad runs out. He only gets booped off in 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Again, the Rampage are going to have to give us the defense and the offense of a lifetime to even contest the 4-minute timer.
But this is where it does get interesting, though, because I don't think Rampage actually lost the fight on their offense until they got to point 3. So the time is sort of irrelevant as long as they can keep that momentum up and get it far into point 3. And then on their defense, if they have a similar defense to what they just had just now, it can actually get very close. Because the street phase was where it was held along, and this time you don't get the 4-minute bonus from getting further on the checkpoints in the map. So they actually took 4 minutes 10 to get through the entire map just now. And yeah, that is roughly what they have left. Like, they have 20 seconds less, but that's about the time it takes for the payload to unlock on both points, right? So roughly, they both have to do the exact same thing as they did just now, and then we actually don't know who's going to win. Of course, time-wise now, it looks good for Cream Team, but they still have to do it first.
Yeah, I have to agree. If the Rampage get that pick and they get the point in the 40 seconds they did last time, they're really going to be in a much better spot than I think we expect. But if the Rampage end up getting rolled again the second time around, I do think Cream Team is in a much better position here. They're playing the Ryan Zarya on the defense, but we've got a Ryan Zarya on the offense as well. They've got the Lucio from Malorad. I was just about to comment that there wasn't one, but he's swapped Mui on the McCree. We saw Mui on these hit scan. He's here. He's here to fight this, and he's here to get these picks. He won them the first fight last time. We have to see if he can do it again. They're going to push in left through the hotel. They're going to get Brawly very quickly. The wall does connect, but all of them made it out the wall, not getting the value they're looking for. Weavy, Sark falling very low. Gamit falling low as well. Sark eliminated by Christy. Nairu eliminating well. And it looks like the Rampage are going to lose that first fight. They've got one more push. Malorad did take out, 2 kills from the Rampage. They're in the back line. Whether they win or lose this, they're now up by 2 if they can push in very quickly. And with that Lucio barrier, or with the Lucio speed boost, I think they're going to be able to get in there in a 6v4 and hopefully turn this around.
No, because Malorad is not there, though. Malarad's on the high ground somehow, so they're not going to be able to use that speed boost again quickly, but they are going to be able to be there
with or without it. Here they come. Malorad flies in to get to his team. That's exactly what they needed. But now there's a full 6 back as well. They're going to have to get a pick here. Rampage have to get the pick if they want to win this. But Mui falling very low. Derpy being eliminated as well. The Rampage are going to have to turn a lost fight, and I don't think they're going to be able to. It looks like they are going to end up losing this round, but they're going to have to give us one heck of a hold just to put this into map, just to put this into a tie. The Rampage would have to do the impossible here. It looks like it is going to end in the favor of Cream Team, excuse me. The Coalescence does come through from Taijutsu, but he's immediately eliminated. Derpy's there with the Shatter, but he's not going to be able to touch the point. He uses the Shatter, but again, does not touch. Mui dancing around the point, just stalling for as long as possible. But yeah, the Rampage are not going to be able to get the value I think they were looking for with such an aggressive comp. And I think Malorad staying alive in that back line may have had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, you needed that speed boost to get back quickly, and you didn't have it. And then the wall from Sark was just a bit too far back, so it couldn't get... I'm sorry. He couldn't get the Reinhardt walled off from Wavy. Both Reinhardts do go down in the end, but then there's just too little follow-up to really do the damage in there for Rampage, and Cream Team manages to win out that last fight. But now they're going to go on their own attack. Like you said, going to be a monumental task to hold that one take off.
This would be an absolutely Herculean task for the Rampage to stall 33% of the point for 4 minutes. That is nearly impossible. I'm sure it's been done before, but doing it here is not going to be easy for the Rampage. We've seen them that when they get the value they're looking for, they are unbelievably relentless, but I don't think they're going to be able to find that value with the Pharah. If the Pharah gets a pick as quickly as she did last time, the Rampage are going to have to kiss King's Row goodbye.
And looking at this defensive setup, they're going with the Ryan Zarya. They're going with the same thing they did last time, really. I mean, I wouldn't say it worked out terribly for them last time. I will say, though, Mui's McCree has been looking very good at being able to stop a pharmacy. And when Zoro and Chrissy go back on that, this still could get interesting. And that's a good set play. You see that nade going into their spawn? That's straight on them.
There's the nade. It's very intelligently placed. What I think the Rampage are missing here is they're playing the May, but they're not properly walling off the heroes like I think they're trying to. They're not getting the value that I think they're looking for with these walls. And while Sark can get aggressive and make Weeby basically useless and just have to play a big rectangle, it's still going to be difficult to get that close because Disease and Zoro are protecting their Reinhardt so aggressively. The Rampage getting off the point already, very dangerous thing to do. Derpy does connect. Weeby is immediately eliminated, but Malorad not far behind. Malorad can get back to the point probably just as fast as Weeby. They've got to get Zoro out of the sky here, but they're going to end up losing this point. Disease finds Andromedus. The Rampage may have to kiss King's Row goodbye as they lose both their tanks. One of their supports, excuse me, still not on the point. Zoro, the Pharmacy, just relentless. It looks like that King's Row is going to go in the favor. Oh, excuse me, not quite yet. 29.9%. There it is. Cream Team does end up winning King's Row, putting us into a 2-1. We are going to go into map 4.
Yeah, you see it so often that a damage boosted pharmacy can get this much value, but it's not uncommon because obviously the only real way to deal with that is to have a hit scan that can immediately hit enough shots to deny that on like an interesting angle or from a long range. And that's just the mechanical thing. And the higher in tiers you get, the higher in skill you get, the less power pharmacy gets because the hits can get better and better. Right. And you can just see that Mui is a very good hit scan, don't get me wrong, but you can see that they miss just enough shots for Zero or Disease to still get the value that they need to. And that also comes, of course, like the tanks giving them enough space and the supports helping them out properly. Like it's all about that entire the team play, but sometimes it can also just come down to they hit the headshot, yes or no, or they hit the headshot on time, yes or no. Because, of course, McCree, large damage fall off. If you're too far away, it doesn't really do anything if you do the headshot.
I think the Pharah has just been the absolute haymaker here for Cream Team. They've just gotten so much value. It's insane that the Pharah is just relentless. They're never looking to get these kills or they're just looking to do the damage. And the fact they pick up kills is fantastic. We've seen some insanely well-placed rockets from both Zoro and Disease, just getting supports or taking out a hero very, very quickly. I'm really excited to see where this next map is going to take us. And the next map is going to be Hanamura.
Ooh, I like it. I think of all the TCP maps that we have in the pool here. I mean, there's obviously there's only 3 because
there's 3.
They took the other ones out, but I do think that Hanamura is the most interesting one when it comes to compositional setups because there's a wide variety of things you can do. Not to say that Volskaya and Anubis are necessarily boring. There's very similar things and very depth that you can do compositionally and strategically, but I do think that Hanamura opens it up even more than that because the Bastion defense, the Symmetra offense, the Torbjorn May split, the Torbjorn Doomfist split, the Sombra Doomfist split, there's so many different things you can do that I'm very happy to see that that they pick this map and that they go there, and I do hope that there's some set plays going on. I do feel like Team Rampage, they're going to be that team that has something prepared here, which is either a dive, maybe a Symmetra. There's going to be something interesting, and they're going to start on the attack once again because actually, Cream Team chose to start on defense, so
I don't know when the last time I've seen this map played and someone didn't run a Symmetra. So I highly expect we're going to see that.
It's been a while, right?
If not both. I think it's been a very long time since I've seen Hanamura without at least the appearance of a Symmetra at least one time.
Yeah, even if I go into like quick play or competitive, I always like,
type in that chat. Hey, follow me.
Symmetra.
SimTP top left. Let's get in there, guys. Follow me left side. No, but the Rampage start with the Rein Zarya, a comp that I think will thrive on this map, especially in that early choke. And the Zenyatta Orisa Reinhardt's going to be a lot of swing, a lot of value for the Reinhardt here on the Rampage.
But the wall
from Sweet, but a wall from Sark as well. And if Sark is quick enough, he can wall.
It's counter wall, right?
Yeah, he can counter wall it, but that's almost impossible because you have to read the other May like a children's book at that point to read.
So you don't have to react wall. You can actually preemptively wall so they cannot wall you. So there's walls you can do in the choke to get into the side temple, for instance, or to get onto the stairs on the left. But there's definitely walls you can play to discount the value from a defensive May. We'll see if Sark has that heads up because we haven't seen great walls from Sark come out just so far. So they really need to start showing up if they want to get that play going.
Sweet has been swapped in on the May instead of Zoro here playing that Pharah. So we're going to see a very... Oh, it looks like they are teleporting back on the point very quickly. Mui goes back just to force them back, and it was exactly what they needed. Mui finds the pick on Gamit. Whether Mui falls or not, that support missing is spelling serious disaster here for Cream Team. If they find one more pick, if the Rampage here can get one more kill... No, Nairu's going to turn this around. Both DPS gone. The Rampage are now crossing their fingers here, tucking their tails. They're going to have to die and get out. That teleport not really getting the value they were looking for. But if they're quick enough, they should really be able to get back to this point before the Zenyatta even returns. Malaret being pulled onto the point. He is going to successfully make it out alive. Oh, the wall. He baits the wall from Sweet as well. That's actually a massive cooldown to go missing as the Rampage are regrouping to push one more time once again.
Malaret needs to stick with their team a bit more, though. I do see them go off on adventures on their own a bit too often, and that can just be that difference between the speed or the heal that their team might just about need. So, Malaret, you know, be the team support. Be the support we know you can be.
Been a little cheeky with this Lucio. We didn't see it earlier as much, but as he plays this Lucio more and more, he's getting into that backline. Mui back onto the point. He's just baiting them into the backline. All 6 turn around to eliminate a single Reaper, and that's exactly what the Rampage needed them to do. They got through completely for free. Stark hits a successful wall. Derpy gets the Nanobush, and the Shatter's completely frozen. This is exactly what they needed. This is exactly what the Rampage were looking for. With one failed push, if they can turn this point around already, this will be fantastic for their time bank. Tapping the second point is usually what's hard about this map. Most people roll through the first. Disease very low is eliminated. Weavy out on his own. They're going to keep him alive for just a couple more seconds. There he goes. And the Rampage with 2 minutes on the clock are going to be able to cap that first point. You love to see it. You love to see the aggression. And all 6 of them turning around to fight Mui twice in a row. The Rampage were just read it like a book. They knew exactly what they needed to do.
Yep, and I would say we were 50% right. There was no Symmetra, but there was still a teleport.
There was a teleport. Yeah, we were pretty close.
And Mui pulled it off twice, and they got debated by it twice. Like, they all turned around, and that's just something you need to not do. You just say, guys, it's just a Reaper. We can also just run forward and kill them. Maybe even go up a takeover, fine. But now there's so many ultimates online. How are you going to get in here?
Mui's flanking behind, but they see him already. We've got a double blizzard. Everybody's frozen. We've got 4 freezes right now. One falls on both sides. Malaret has fallen. Sweet has fallen. Now it's just whoever gets the next pick will consider this fight the victor. Andromedus less than 10% of his health. Disease takes out Sark. Andromedus is going to fall as well. Mui third to fall out, and it looks like the Rampage are going to have to tuck their tails once again and get back, but a lot of ultimates came out in that fight. It didn't seem like it, but we did see quite a few ults pop out from these teams, but now the Rampage actually kept half their team alive, and they're baiting Cream Team so far out of spawn, only if there was someone to back cap this late. Christie finds the pick. Disease finds the pick, and that's almost a 30-second stall. You almost think the Rampage should have just stopped kiting and just stayed alive and let the enemy team kill them.
I'm going to say, though, you got the Blizzard out. You froze Nairu. You even walled them off, and Nairu still lived through that fight upstairs. That is just painful, because it was a beautiful Blizzard from Sark, and the wall was even good. Oh, and now we're going to be seeing the attack come in here with a lot of ultimates, but defense is quite a few in the bank as well. There's mainly a DPS ultimate advantage from Mui here, but not sure if that's going to be enough to really get it. They do make it to point, though.
Onto the point, they're here on their own. Bob coming in from Cream Team. Derpy's falling very low. A massive grab, forcing out both the beat from Malaret, and the Immortality field. Things look fantastic. Disease, no. Things looked good, and then Disease and Bob said, not today. This is not what we're looking for. Yeah, with a quad kill and a lot of ultimates committed to that fight. The Shatter, the sole survivor of the ult apocalypse there. They are going to have to move back. 3 minutes left on the clock. The Rampage have plenty of time to turn this around, but we're seeing a very rock-solid defense coming out of Cream Team here.
I need healing.
Yeah, of course, they do still have 2 minutes 50, and they do have 2 ultimates in the bank coming up, so Shatter and Blizzard, which are both very good CC ultimates. Nairu, Christie, and Sweet will have theirs ready. That will be the window especially will be rough to fight into, where you're just walking up the corridor, they could just fire strike all your squishies with one shot. That's gotta watch out for that one.
We're gonna push into the high ground. No, they're not. As Disease picks Mui again. Disease, the first map, I was worried he was playing that hit scan, but he has been here to prove us wrong ever since. He's hitting these crucial shots every single time. He's around the backside, making Stark have to wall him off to even get up to the rest of his team. They're gonna drop down towards center. They're gonna try to put pressure onto the Doom and the Ash, but they're both gonna use their mobility to get out of here. This fight running very slowly, which is technically in the favor of the defending team, as the Rampage, as each second ticks by, their odds of winning this fight get lower and lower. The Doomfist falling in. He does not land any kill confirmations. The window coming from the back, and a massive shatter coming from both sides. 3 fall to these shatters, and they're not going to be able to get a lot of value. It's going to be who gets the first pick. It's going to be Sweet. Derby falls as well. Movie takes out Christie, and the Blizzard was committed, but nobody's there to really do anything about it. Bob committed as well from Disease. It's just ultimates. There's no more ultimates live anymore because every single person that had an ultimate just pressed Q and prayed, and Cream Team came out on top. And if you look at their health bars, 3 of them were so low. If the Rampage had just a little bit more focused damage, they could have taken out both Gamete and Disease, and possibly even the Orisa as well.
Yeah, but even if they didn't mean to, they drew out everything from the defense. And now they're going to have their sound barrier close, Graviton, Nano Boost. They're actually going to be very dangerous on this attack if they manage to get in. And if they just won't take the point, yeah, they also got a tick. So, like, they're in a pretty good spot here. But they do need to get in with everyone alive. That's the trick. Get in,
wall off,
everyone alive.
They're going to rotate all the way around. Weavy caught out so unbelievably early. Disease gone as well. This is the fight. This is the fight Rampage needed. They're still up. No, they're not up anymore. Cream Team is here to crush those hopes and dreams. And instead of focusing on the point, the Rampage are focusing on the kills. That's not what they need to be doing. Nayru finds Sark as Sark walls himself in with Nayru Derpy on the point now by himself, as the rest of his team was just ripped apart by Cream Team. There was such little communication there from Rampage. They were just so focused, and Sweet is getting unbelievable value on this Doomfist. Things are looking really good here for Cream Team. We're going to have to see an insane defense from the Rampage again if they want to end this map next round.
They can still get the points. They still have ultimates.
They've got the ultimates. One more push. It's going to be a difficult thing to do if they can even get there in time. They're going to barely touch. They are going to force the OT timer no matter what here, but using these ultimates effectively and not being taken out by Sweet so early into a fight is going to be the hardest thing. There's Sweet flying in as predicted. The Bob coming as well. Beats forced out. It only picks up a couple. It only gets 4 of them instead of all 6. Gamete finds Taijidu. A shatter coming through from Nayru, and it looks like, as predicted, Cream Team is going to just wipe up the Rampage. The Bob coming out. Maybe he can prove us wrong here, but Cream Team in a serious advantage here. Mui finds another pick on the sweep, and nobody. Mui, what are you doing? Mui is carrying the team at this point. That was 4 eliminations in a lost fight from Mui. They're not getting as much value as I think they're hoping for. But it's now a battle teams versus the Lucio. They're trying to get as much value as they can. Mui finds another kill. This is phenomenal. Andromedus and Taijidu have returned. Mui single-handedly keeps the timer alive. The Shatter comes through, and Andromedus on the Wrecking Ball gets 2 kills of its own. This is an insane performance. The Shatter connects. The Meteor Strike picks up 0. Sweet, the sole survivor here. The Rampage are filing in one by one, and they're just not there fast enough. Cream Team's gonna end up losing this fight. That was the most insane overtime I've ever seen. Mui killed almost the entire team on his own. The second tick comes through. Do we see a third? This is phenomenal. It looks like the Rampage will be able to clean up all 3 ticks of that second point in overtime. That was nuts. That was phenomenal. Mui, the absolute MVP of that push, cleaned up a lost fight on his own with Malorad just tickling the front line. That was insane.
That's just great. I mean, honestly, you just go into that, and then Malorad says, you know what? Anyone who wants to shoot at Mui has to get booed by me, because then you won't actually be able to hit anything. And
that
then
was
Mui
the best example of the Overwatch factor I've ever seen.
I know, and then Mui just says, yeah, and then Mui just says, okay, so you boot people up and I shoot them down, because it's just clay shooting at that point. It's great. Honestly, beautifully played by them. And then a Shatter came back in on the end, didn't actually get anything. I think they shattered the Wrecking Ball, and then he charged, and he didn't get the Wrecking Ball, and he didn't get the Orisa. 2 of the biggest targets in the game were both slid off them like they were made of butter, which is sort of Ryan's signature move at this point, but wow, Mui and Malorad, just the dream team combo there in the end.
A 2v6, and they won it.
But no. We gotta stop talking about this, because do you know what I see in the spawn of the attackers? Do you know what my eye spies?
There he is. No, the bait! We got you baited!
No, we're not. No. Because Disease is still on Reaper. We still have a teleporting hero. It's not over.
It's not going to be the same TP we were expecting.
The dream isn't dead. The dream is still alive, and they're going to try to do the same thing.
Can they do it? No, here comes the Symmetra from Team. We got debated twice. This is nuts. This is phenomenal. They're going to TP right in, but something tells me the Rampage are ready for it. This is going to be phenomenal.
Where will the TP go?
Most likely straight into the point. There it is. The Rampage are there. Mui, 40% of that Bob already. Immortality Field's already gone. Mui's not going to stop yet. The man is on fire, and he's not here to mess around. Andromedus finds the pick on an Nayru. That's what the Rampage needed. Disease holding that left click, trying to welcome people into the microwave, but the Rampage are playing that distance. Mui finds Sweet as well. This fight is not going to be easy for the Cream Team here. The Rampage are relentless. Mui on that Ashe is just just he does not have a price. He's so good. Disease ripped off the map by Derpy. Movie drops to 10 health. The Immortality Field committed in the Rampage. An absolutely insane first defensive hold, eliminating almost an entire minute in one hold.
I was gonna say, is Disease gonna try again? Because if they do that 2 more times, they, theoretically got the full point because they got to take every time.
Absolutely.
But Disease will go over to that Ashe, which they've been showing great on so far.
A disadvantage though. Movie's got the Bob and Disease gave up almost a full sim wall. That's a risky thing to do because now they just have to push forward. The Bob coming through. Immortality Field committed so early. Immortality Field gone. Bob's here. Christie falls. Bob falls. But that's okay. The Rampage are still up in that 6v5. Derpy, no. Now it's a 5v5. Disease swapping onto that Ashe. Much more valuable clearly than that Symmetra ever will be for them. The Disease hitting every single shot. He's creating a disease of his own, and it's just getting your head taken off. Sark swaps onto the Reaper. He's just trying to get the value. He's going to get the ultimate, but he might not even have to use it as the Rampage cleanup once again. I would say the Cream Team here has 2 more good pushes. No, Sark, what are you doing? He eliminates a third of the team for no reason. He just presses that Q because he has it, and he makes it out alive. Absolutely insane performance from these DPS. They got a little shaky on King's Row, but they're here to show us that was an absolute fluke, and the Rampage cannot be contested.
So I think they found the flaw in the Rampage defense, though, and that's that Andromedus, just like on King's Row, just on this off angle. They could just straight away walk up to Dupree and kill Dupree. That cross angle is a bit annoying, but you have enough sustain to defend yourself against the Sigma. Not now with the Riveted Flux, though.
The Beat and the Immortality Field both committed. A waste of both cooldowns. They no longer have them for the Bob, who's just going to rip this shield apart and rip this team to shreds. Derpy finds Nairu with a minute and a half left on the clock and both tanks missing. Cream Team has to get out. They have to reset. Mui with a 3rd kill. He's relentless. He's not letting them out alive without a fight. A minute and a half left. They have 1 more good push, maybe 2 if they're quick enough. If that Lucio gets the speed boost off, we see the swap onto the Zarya here, but I don't think they've got the time to charge that grab. That takes such a long time. It's one of the longest ultimates in the game to charge, and they've got so many more ults on the side of the Rampage. It's going to be a really difficult fight for the Cream Team to win here.
The bigger problem is that they have Nairu still on the Reinhardt. Normally they have Wavy on the Reinhardt and Nairu on the Zarya.
Bob taken out like a clay pigeon. Disease picks up 2. Absolutely phenomenal. Gets rid of the Immortality Field as well. This is the fight. The swap onto the Zarya didn't even matter because Sweet on the McCree got so much more value. Sweet and Disease on those Cowboys. They're here to fight and they're here to stay with less than a minute on the clock. They finally break through that first point and they're going to come to the second point here with 4 minutes on the clock. This is going to be hard for the Rampage to hold. But if they can hold like they did on that first point, they've got nothing to worry about.
It's looking like the high ground push coming out. Not unsurprising. Obviously, it's a very normal push to go for. Not much they can do to stop them here with that double barrier. There's Nairu just looking in.
The window forced out here, and the Transcendence force as well, just to negate the window. Derpy's Bongo gone. No more ultimates coming from the Rampage. They almost have both Bob and the transformation. Disease takes out Andromedus. He was caught in that off angle. Wavy takes out Derpy. This is going to be a dangerous fight. This is going to be a really difficult fight to win with 3. No, Bob runs off the point into the sunset. He's going to confirm no kills, and 1 by 1 the Rampage are slow but sure going to be taken apart. 3 minutes left on the clock. They need somebody to touch right here, right now. Andromedus is in. He gets the ultra. He's 10% in, but he drops. He's so low. Sark swaps into the Reinhardt. 2 Reinhardts on point. If Sark can get a big shatter, Derpy eliminated by Sweet very quickly. Sark gets the shatter, was taken out of the transformation before anything can be done. Andromedus still on the ball, but Bob is relentless. That aimbot is unmatched with 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Cream Team just came through. They almost lost the match on first point, but they ripped the Rampage apart on that second.
Yeah, once again, they've identified the weakness of Rampage, which is if we run at them at an angle that Andromedus is not ready for, we just win. And they do it twice in a row now. And, they just switched to Lucio, Ryan Zarya, and they managed to just punch their way into a corner where it's only the Orisa, and then they get Derpy, and then Andromedus just standing there like, but I'm not there to help. But why you go for my tank? It's not good. It's a bit annoying.
Danger close here to seeing a map 5, possibly.
It's
coming from Cream Team.
Looking likely. I mean, to be fair though, their defense is really good. If they can pull off the same defense, they can and have the same value, they can bring it back.
You have to see map 5 no matter what, huh?
Yeah, but I mean,
but
then the question is it a map 5 for like the series decider tiebreaker, or is it a map 5 because we just have had a draw before? That's what it's about, right? So. True. how dangerous will the map 5 be for Rampage? That's what we're going to determine now. Will it be a 2-2 or a 2-1? And I mean, going into control, I feel like they should be more confident. But once again, like you see the same setup. Andromedus on the high ground, Derpy on the low ground. What's going to go different this time?
Louis goes for the early dynamite on the door, but Andromedus, you're absolutely right. He's caught in that cross pattern, but he's not there to help his team with the value he's looking for. They're going to run in through the left side and try to get into the point as quickly as possible. If Cream Team find a pick before the Rampage, it's going to spell disaster. But no, Taijutsu is here to send Gami to the graveyard. It's going to be a fantastic pick. No, Sweet's here to eliminate Taijutsu. Stark takes out the Weavy as well, takes out the Zarya. The Rampage can hold this, but they've lost so many fighters already. It's going to be a really difficult thing to turn around, but Stark weak on that Echo. We know he is relentless. The McCree finds a pick, but no, Stark on the Echo. Absolutely incredible performance. 2 minutes left. They may be able to hold this into a draw if they can hold just 2 more times. Oh, Disease is caught out. They know he's up there. They're going to put the pressure on him. That is at least a 20-second stall because they cannot push in without their, what is arguably their largest damage dealer and most accurate DPS we've seen.
That was a risk worth taking, though, because they almost got the kill on the Sark there by popping out their head. Got turned around on them, unfortunately. But, you know, they still haven't been at 40. The only problem is now they're down in ultimates a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. We gave that gave the Rampage just enough time for their team to come back. The Rampage are now in a full 6, as is the Cream Team. They're going to go the exact same strategy. It didn't work last time. Why do we think it's going to work this time? We'll have to see a serious damage increase. But no, Disease immediately eliminated by Andromedus. That off-angle maybe not being as bad as we thought it was. They're going to flank all the way around, but losing 2 already. Cream Team's going to have to get out of here. It's not looking good. Nairu finds Jorpy, but that's going to be the only thing they find is the rest of his team is already dead. Maybe he can get a couple more kills, but right now, him and Sweet are running that point alone. Sweet taken out and Weavy not far behind. A fantastic hold. They've still got their Gravitic Flux, possibly holding it for overtime. Their Rampage in a very slight but moderate. Excuse me, more ult are about to come from Cream Team.
So we asked what can they do to stop them from just running out at Derpy, right? And Derpy has been very smartly, the entire team actually has been very good at just rotating away, just preemptively running away. And now they're ready with the Flux. The Utility Field is forced out.
They made out the Immortality Field. That's exactly what the Rampage needed. Is there's such little healing on the side of the Green Team here. Oh, Mui Bob comes out. Sark takes out Gami. That's exactly what the Rampage are looking for. A Shatter comes out, connects with Zero. The Rampage are here. 30 seconds. Sweet takes out Sark. That's not going to look good here for the Rampage, as Sark has gotten so many kills. But Mui's here to clean up what Sark can no longer. 20 seconds. One more good panic push if Cream Team can even make it.
But the ultimates are there, though.
The ultimates are there.
Especially that sound barrier. The sound barrier can just sort of give them a free entry without like losing anybody.
From Gambit here.
Yeah, you had to.
He had to use it to survive. Bob's gonna fly into the point. He is gonna land on the point. The Rampage have to be careful. Bob is capped. Bob is going to cap the point. No, with 3 eliminations coming from the Rampage, though, they may have successfully turned this point around in their favor. It's gonna be hard to tell as that Bob is relentless, but Taijutsu takes him out of the fight with 1 more left and the overtime timer ticking down. We are gonna go to map 5, but the Rampage are still up 2-1 over the Cream Team.
And Christy almost got the sound barrier up and then died to an accretion combo. That was just, you need that sound barrier. You're the hero that needs to stay alive. Bob touched the point. You're good. And then Christy went down. That's such a shame. But well done from Rampage. I would not necessarily say it was expected they were going to hold that, but they obviously had a very good example on the round before, so they knew they could hold for that amount of time. The only difference was this time they didn't start with a Symmetra teleporter, so that free tick wasn't given and that free ult charge wasn't given to Rampage. They had to work for it this time, but nice adaptation. They really started preemptively rotating away from the Lucio speed boost route, because before the speed boost even started, they were already backing up in order to negate that speed difference they would have. And then by the time the speed boost ended, Cream Team was still not fully on top of Rampage, and they were already being burst down. So very, very well done. We're gonna see where Rampage is gonna go, because I think they still have map pick, right? Because they were the last ones to lose a map, so they should be able to pick the map. That's usually how that goes. So yeah, that would be Rampage going for the
Lijiang or Ilios. Lijiang Tower or Ilios for our control point. This still could be a very slow but doable reverse sweep from Cream Team. They're down but not out quite yet.
No, so the question is also, is this a tiebreaker? No, it's not. It's it's 2-1. I don't know. Maybe the rules are different here, because sometimes the rule is if there's a draw on a map, you play a tiebreaker to break the tie off the map.
No, this will be, I believe this is going to be, that was just a draw. We will be moving forward. It's going to remain the first to 3 here.
I mean, it doesn't technically matter, right? Because even if it's a tiebreaker to break the draw, then it's either 3-1 or 2-2 anyways. So it doesn't change what the map means.
Very true.
But it's semantics. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. I promise. So we're going into Lijiang Tower, like you said, and out of Ilios and Lijiang Tower, I would have sort of hoped them to go for Ilios. I think that's just better for them. But on the other hand,
more entertaining to watch. There's so much more value to get out of like more impressive Ilios.
Yeah, it's maybe more dive friendly. I think both maps lend themselves equally well to Pharmacy on the right map. So I will say there's not really a lesser two evils in that sense. I think one of the teams is like, we weren't ready yet, so we're just gonna go back to spawn. And sorry about that, guys. We'll go back into the game as soon as we're ready. Obviously with that one, but yeah, we can talk a little bit more about what we think is going to happen. I think the biggest difference about it is that Team Rampage doesn't have to play double barrier, which I think that's a good thing, because I think their double barrier, while they sort of adapted on that Hanamura defense second time around, it's been their most shaky comp, if I may say so. If they have an opportunity to go dive, I think they just should. I think that's just a winner. But there's a good chance that this dive composition, or this map, is going to lead to some Reinhardt Zarya or Reinhardt Sigma mirror matches, which Cream Team has been looking a bit better on. So a lot of it will depend on, do you get Control Center and then Night Market, or do you get Night Market and then Garden, or do you get Garden and Night Market? Because Night Market will be the most split one. I think Control Center should go to Cream Team and Garden should go to Team Rampage. So it's really going to be Night Market that decides it all, but then it's all about in which order do you get them, so which team gets the momentum or doesn't get the momentum.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to see, because we saw Cream Team when they had point control on that first map earlier today. It was really impressive. But then when they lost that point control, Rampage no longer let them get it. They never really reached the goal they were looking for. It looks like we will have to wait just a second. It appears somebody's lost internet on the side of Cream Team, so we will have to wait just a few minutes for them to return.
It'll be fine, you know. I like the suspense. That's what we go for, you know.
Building up for extra 5.
I don't think so. So interesting, right? We haven't seen a Genji yet tonight, which, like, I said it in the first map. It's like, I would like to see a Genji maybe, because Genji did get those buffs. And I think the biggest reason why we haven't seen it is because there's just hasn't been that much time to practice it. I'm sure we're going to be seeing it in the future, but I have been liking seeing the Echo and the Ashe still come out. We've seen some May Reaper. We've seen a very varied cast. I'm thinking which heroes haven't been played. So we haven't seen a Sombra. We haven't seen a Roadhog. We haven't seen a Genji. So that's like tank-wise, we've sort of got it covered. I think we've seen all supports. I'm actually very certain we have seen all supports. So it's just a few DPS that we haven't seen, but not that many even. We see the Torbjorn and the Bastion and the Symmetra actually seriously played, not just for a meme.
We've seen some really interesting picks. I definitely agree.
Yeah.
I think we've seen
all
tanks except Roadhog, and like you said, also
Roadhog.
Yeah, and then a lot of the damage heroes have been played. We've seen a good rotation, and I think that's my favorite thing about Overwatch right now is there's no real set meta. It's just everyone can play teams they're comfortable with. And while comps may be a little bit stronger than others, we're almost in like a rock paper scissors scenario where there's always a comp to counter a good comp.
Yeah, and I'm really thinking of like which heroes we haven't seen, so which heroes are technically still not good enough. I'm gonna leave Genji out of the observation, because obviously Genji has gotten buffs. We might see them, and it's just like no practice. So who we haven't seen is, I don't think we've seen Junkrat.
We have not. We also haven't seen the legs.
We haven't seen the legs exactly, and we haven't seen the Sombra. That's 3 DPS heroes we haven't seen that aren't Genji. So it's been so diverse that we've seen. I think at that point, if I do the math correctly, would be like 27 heroes or something. So 27 out of the 32 that we have.
And that's incredible, because 2 years ago, sitting in this very spot, maybe even a little over a year ago, we would have just seen the same six heroes being played over and over. We'd be seeing goats on goats on goats. But you look at how far the game has come so recently. We see so many huge, valuable heroes played, and it's a lot more fun when we can play roles that we want to play rather than play Brigitte just to hold left click.
Yeah, and a lot of this is also, of course, due to map diversity mattering a bit more. I do really like seeing that. So we're just waiting for Cream Team's player to come back in. I think they're starting to reconnect now, so we won't be long. But we've made it. We did it with 27 heroes. Maybe someone will pick a Legs. Maybe someone will pick the Genji. Maybe someone will pick the Roadhog just because they can pull people off the cliff on Gardens. It's possible that we're still going to go for that magic 28, maybe the 29. But 32, I think, is out of our own possibilities. It's all up to the players. That's what we're going for. Wavy is just saying in chat, this is their first competitive game, as in like team-based game, since 2017. So it's been a hot minute. I think that's about as long as I've not played with a team properly. So I know the feeling, Wavy. We're both here, and I think Wavy's showing a pretty decent performance so far tonight. So good return to competitive Overwatch.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing a very impressive performance for being gone for 3 years.
I mean, they've played the game, but they just haven't played like with a team. So, you don't know what they've been doing in the meantime. Of course, I mean, let's see their profile. They do have a golden border, so it's not like they've been sitting idle. Yeah, it does look like they've been playing every kind of season.
Here we go. Showtime. Map 5. We are jumping right back into things.
Which map?
It's going to be
It's Night Market.
Night Market. An absolutely fantastic map to play. Probably going to see Orion Zarya here. Maybe a double shield, but maybe even a Symmetra. We might see another one. That teleport into that top window is absolutely so common. Again, I don't think I've played this map in a long time where I haven't seen Symmetra teleporting into the window.
So my
coverage.
Yeah, my prediction is that whoever wins this round will win the map. Because I do think both of those other points have a stark advantage for either of the teams. But going into this one, this is really the one where I just don't know. We do see the Symmetra queued up from Disease. We know that they can sort of deal with that on the other side. We know they have the tools to deal with the Symmetra teleporter. But the big difference is that, unlike Hanamura, if Disease teleports in here, they're not going to be set up defensively already. They're actually going to have to run into the defense of that Symmetra with Disease and Cream Team just standing there because they've already gotten 2 points. They also have a Lucio queued up just to speed boost even further. We're just waiting for some voice chat issues that they're having.
Voice chat crash. It looks like we're gonna have to pause once again. 7 seconds away from greatness. We will have to pause once
It'll
again.
Be fine.
We really want to build the suspense up for you guys and give you guys a show of what's about to happen. It's gonna be fantastic. You guys are gonna love it. Things are gonna be incredible. We do apologize.
Sorry, chats. Sorry.
Fix them. So you guys are gonna have to bear with us here, as we just have to wait as long as you guys do. It's gonna be unfortunate, but we're just going to have to stick it out with this team, wait until they can get their voice chat back, because it's not fair by any means to start a map without full 6 in voice chat.
Of course. We do. I think we're definitely going to be seeing the... Yeah, okay, so Wavy's asking for some AT&T and KW in the chat. I think you can give that to Wavy, even though it's on Cream Team, and I think we've mostly seen Rampage chat tonight. Just give it. They'll be happy when you do that. But yeah, I honestly, I'm just waiting for the pause. Like I was so ready to go into the map, and then the pause comes out. Like I know how the chat feels. I'm with you guys. I also want to do this.
Ready. We were stoked. We were calling out comps. We were calling out what was going to happen. But the gates are about to open in 5 seconds, and we are going to see what's going to happen. My Symmetra teleport prediction, probably being spot on, because there's really no other reason to play the Symmetra on this map. So as the gates open, we are 3 seconds away from finally starting. We apologize for all those errors, but we're ready to jump right in and play some more Overwatch. Both teams pushing out a double shield comp coming from both, but again, we see Cream Team running the more aggressive shield comp. They're running the Rhine Orisa versus the Orisa Sigma. Andromeda is very clearly much more comfortable on that Sigma than anything else. He's played that very much throughout the day. And with Cream Team having an early point advantage, the Rampage are going to have to turn this fight around in 10 seconds if they want to get this point before Cream Team does here.
I think they're going to be happy to give up some percentage in order to win the larger fight, but they still have to do it. Mui, nice jump up to the high ground, and Stark is shooting from the right side. It's linear versus angular, and this is exactly what you want to see.
Oh, Gummy finally falling. Both supports gone. The Rampage give up 5%, but they're going to clean up much more. They eliminate the entirety of Cream Team, and they just push into the point. Weavy finds a pick onto Sark, but Sark's going to return so much faster to that map that it doesn't even matter.
Oh, and of course you do see this combination of Sark and Mui was working out great. Sark was shooting from the side, Mui got a position on the high ground to throw dynamite behind the barriers, and then it softens up, the sticky bombs help, and then the beam just finishes off targets. There's not a lot you can do at that point, so great heads-up play to just deny the defensive setup with that Symmetra.
We see Goat Controls flanking around the back line, but he's caught out by Mui. He's going to have to run back to his team, tuck his tail, and run back to get some healing. Cream Team pushing up very far, but NayRu has that Discord orb, and he's really putting himself at risk. The nade is forced out. Goat Controls trying to find an early pick, but the Immortality Field does keep him alive. NayRu falls. The Immortality Field is gone. Christie not far behind. This is going to give the Rampage a guaranteed win on this fight, unless some serious plays start coming out. But with 4 of the 6 heroes dead, Goat Controls is Nano. The Nano's committed, but he can confirm no kills. Another team kill coming out of the Rampage, already halfway to winning this first point. And if they win this first point, they're in a fantastic position to end this finally in the 3-2, or excuse me, the 3-1 over Cream Team.
Yeah, we do see a gravitic flux. I think that's
fat finger here. Very unusual.
We'll still maybe get some follow-up.
He picks up 2, baits out the Immortality Field. A very unusual time to ult. We're going to assume that was a fat finger. But we're still going to move forward. They've got plenty of ultimates to work with. NayRu still does not have that shatter, but Goat Controls finally finds a pick on a Tajiri. NayRu falls as well. The Immortality Field negates the entirety of the slam here, but Goat Controls finds a pick onto Sark, and it looks like this is the fight they needed. A lot of ultimates committed from both sides, but it looks like Cream Team's going to come out on top. Something unusual I've noticed is the Rampage win almost every dry fight. The second an ultimate comes out, Cream Team almost always has it in the bag. This is much closer than I think any of us expected after the Rampage won those first 2 maps in a row.
Yeah, we are going to be seeing quite a few ultimates, of course, be online for Rampage and for Cream Team as well. They both have half the bank full. Nice dynamite once again for Mui. Will be able to build up to that bomb fairly quickly.
He used the first one in that last fight.
It's so fast.
Second already. Bongo coming out from both teams here. They're going to push forward, but more damage is coming out. Sark swaps to the Reinhardt, but Goat Controls finds a pick onto Mui. He countercharges NayRu, but they're going to have to find a pick very quickly or risk giving up this fight. The window comes out from Gamit here, but he's going to have to find a kill as NayRu has fallen. Sark finds another kill. Sark gets the shatter, but is picked out of the transformation before he can use it. Bob comes out, gets a pick on a Derpy. Sark eliminates the Bob. The Rampage can still win this. No, they can no longer win it as Andromeda has been eliminated, and they can no longer push forward without that shield. Goat Controls on this Doomfist. They've really got to put more pressure on him as he's getting a second kill. He's cleaning up these fights single-handedly. Sark caught out on the side by Goat Controls. Goat Controls cleaning up half the team on his own. This man is showing the Rampage, a solo Rampage. They're really going to have to
We saw it coming out before from Sweet. Sweet's Doomfist was also really good. It's just the hero is still pretty nice. Right? It's not a terrible hero. It's part of the reason why they wanted to buff Genji. They want to give Genji like a similar impact sometimes. But, oh, Malorad will be able to be healed up. Oh, the both supports are so low. Look at that.
Support kind of showing each other some love here, trying to keep each other alive. They've got the Bob. They're going to full Hail Mary him into the point. He's countercharged by NayRu. The window comes out as well. But they're going to have to get a kill here. The Immortality Field is gone for the Rampage. Excuse me, not for the Rampage, for the Cream Team. Now the one for the Rampage gone as well. Goat Controls is down. This is the push Rampage needed. 2 of them are missing. A massive dynamite comes from the ZZ. It's 14 off of Bob. They need to get rid of him before he can get that Bob out. It's going to spell disaster. No, here comes the Bob. The Gravitic Flux coming out from Andromeda. He picks up 3, but Malorad is eliminated. 2 are eliminated by Andromeda. This is the ultimate. They needed to win this fight. With 99, they need to win this. If they lose this fight, it is spelling disaster for this map. They were in the lead for so long. Goat Controls getting a little cocky. He gets the punch onto Andromeda, but the Rampage are able to flip that. They are now in last fight scenario, but there is an ult advantage for Cream Team here.
Yeah, looking like they're going to be able to push in with quite a bank, but there is a duplicate and a Transcendence ready.
Very early, they've got the duplicate. The Transcendence is going to save the day. They're pushing in early with that. The Shatter picks up 0. He pins the Transcendence. The Transcendence has been baited. A Shatter coming out from Sark as well. Sark pins Goat Controls. That is absolutely massive. 2 have fallen. This is it. Sark gets another Shatter before transforming back. He picks up none. The fact that he even got up to Disease is here to show them this is not going to be an easy win. Disease eliminated by Sark. Sark confirming this map. All they need to do is eliminate Weavy, and this is going to spell a first point win for the Rampage here. With overtime ticking away, nobody from Cream Team is going to be able to touch on the Rampage. Do confirm the win on the first map.
Wow, what a close one in the end. After that first fight, and then the consequence, like ultimate rotation, really. Was hard to pull it back from Cream Team, but they did do the job. They did do the thing, and of course, a big part of that was Goat Controls and even Disease as well. They just are consistently still pushing out the damage. Now that we're going to this control center, though, this is where I kind of Yeah, like this is where I would expect the Doomfist to come out, and
Agreed.
maybe not the
No, but
Ash.
here's the jump.
Oh,
Here's
look,
the
there they
jump.
go. There
Here
they
we go.
go.
This is what we wanna see.
0-27. Oh wait, was it 0-27? Yes, 0-27.
The gates are
27 is on the
open. We've got
board.
Orion- We've got Orion from both sides, but Nairu on the ball. So Malorad and Taijidu both
Nope,
playing
nope.
mobile heroes. No, he swaps to the Sigma. Again, still an unusual pick here. Junkrat.
Is it mirror? It's almost mirror.
Oh, Christie eliminated so quickly. I'm not even sure how they died so fast. A big wall coming out from Stark, but the Reinhardt is able to just barely squeeze through. They're going to rotate around Disease in the back line, trying to get a pick, but Mui sees that he's there. They're going to put pressure on him. They force out the Ice Block, which spells disaster for Disease. He's most likely going to die here. The wall coming up saves his life. They're still in a 5v6. Weavy is caught out on his own, but the kill will not be confirmed here. Disease on that high ground, trying to farm these kills as fast as possible. Weavy eliminating Stark, not looking good. Derpy now to follow. The Rampage were in such a good position. They eliminated Christie, but it looks like Cream Team is going to be able to turn this fight around. Mui takes out Weavy. Goat controls on Taijidu, and Cream Team is going to be able to cap this point successfully. Goat controls with a triple kill on the Junkrat. This is a fantastic Junkrat elimination.
They did not push through their advantage when they had it. They killed that Lucio soon. That means you have mobility advantage. You have some AoE healing advantage. And they're not using it to their advantage. They're not rushing into them. And a big part of that's potentially because they're scared of the Junkrat. That's very much a reason.
The Junkrat's a fantastic pick here. These small corridors make it so difficult to contest him without getting close. Here comes the tire. The Hail Mary tire from the high ground's going to clean up Andromedus. A Shatter coming through as well. Kind of a waste of a Shatter here. Mui is eliminated by Gamete here. And the Coalescence is committed, but it's not going to be what they need. They're going to push forward. Stark eliminated as well. 30% on the map. We said, you know, whoever wins that first map is probably going to have this in the bag, but Cream Team is here to prove us wrong and show us that it is not over until the round has completely ended and both maps have been completed, if not 3 maps, which right now Cream Team is making it look like we're going to see a 3rd map.
That was sort of expected, though, because I do think this is the better map for Cream Team. So it's all going to be about...
Alex, we got a Blizzard coming out from Disease. It's going to be big. A Blizzard coming out from Stark as well, but much fewer people are in Stark's Blizzard. To Derpy and Stark being eliminated from the Rampage, 60% on the map. They committed that Blizzard. They only have 2, but they almost have 4 ultimates. They're going to have to get out and recontest. They need to find a way to counter this Junkrat a little bit better. You've got to wonder why Mui hasn't swapped onto that Ash yet to put a little more long-distance pressure onto them.
I don't think you get enough sidelines there. Mui is... Oh, he teleports in. That's most awesome. Was ready.
Ultimate, but he's
that was a
not
bait.
Looking for the definite bait, forcing Coalescence, a very unusual time to use it, but the Rampage are rotating all the way around, moving into this small room, a very dangerous thing to do with no longer a Junkrat. Mui finds the connect onto Goat controls. All they need to do is find one more good pick to really secure this in the bag, but we've seen Disease, we've seen the value that they can get, and if they find that, no, Weavy bounced around in. Derpy blocks the Shatter coming from Weavy. It looks like the Rampage are finally, with 5 seconds left, going to be able to flip this point in their favor.
The debate rotate work completely out. Malorad just be able to speed their team all the way around, and the reaction is not there in time, and they just catch them while they try to counter-rotate.
Eliminated. Sark gonna have trouble getting out of here, but Nairu's taken out of that fight so quickly. He's walled off and frozen, which has gotten him by the Rampage at least 10 more %. Absolutely phenomenal. This is looking fantastic here for the Rampage already. They forced the Ice Block, and Derpy is waiting to farm another Shatter. They've got the Grav and the Death Blossom, which could spell absolute disaster for Cream Team. Disease finds the headshot onto Sark, and Derpy is caught out as well. Derpy's most likely going to be eliminated. Mui commits the Death Blossom, and Nairu commits it as well, forcing a beat out of Malorad. Derpy falls, Christie falls, Gamete falls, and the Rampage, living on a prayer here, possibly going to be able to come out on top of this map. Weavy finds a pick onto Andromedus, but Mui found 3 of the team. Weavy the only one on point. Disease as well. Mui getting solo shattered onto the point. They're looking to clean this up and end this right here, right now. Absolutely phenomenal.
Malorad.
And you thought it was going to be over, but it's not going to be over quite yet. Stark gets the Blizzard onto the point, and the Rampage are here just in time. They've held the point this entire time. Derpy and Andromedus clean up both Weavy and Gamete. This is exactly what they needed. They're moving forward. It's going to get difficult to hold on to this for 30 more %. The Trap finds the kill onto Andromedus, but he can return to point so quickly. One ultimate is online, but the Rampage are very close to having both their Coalescence and their Shatter, with the Coalescence almost out from Cream Team here as well. They're going to push in forward, knowing Andromedus isn't here. He swaps to the Diva, a very unusual pick, knowing his team is down. Stark on the point, just trying to stall for as long as possible, uses the Ice Block, will most likely be pinned right out of it. He's going to fall very soon. Yes, he does fall. 5% left on the map. It's going to be really difficult for the Rampage to do anything, let alone even confirm and flip this point around. Coalescence comes out from both teams. It's going to get really messy here. Who can get the pick first? Beat forced out from Christie. They're looking to win this fight, but with Goat controls falling, and the Shatter is ready. Almost the Death Blossom. If Mui gets the Death Blossom, he can flip this corner. He gets the Death Blossom and confirms 1 kill on Gamete. That's exactly what the Rampage needed. They're going to win this point. If he can pick Weavy, he's getting danger close to eliminating Weavy. Less than half of the Shatter will not come through. The Rampage now have the opportunity to flip this point back back in their favor if they can get Disease out of here. Disease falls to a headshot from Andromeda, and that's exactly what the Rampage we're looking for. They're 20% away from taking this home.
And now they've got the shatter from Derpy still ready. Derpy was sort of permafrost by Disease in that last fight. Otherwise, I'm fairly certain they would have wanted to use that shatter. But now it's going to be close. Will Go Controls get a tire in time? Will they be able to get value out of the Blizzard? Will they get to the point in time? I think they'll be able to touch. This is going to be a hell of a fight.
Going to have to eat this Blizzard. The wall doing a lot of damage, 98%. If Andromeda didn't eat the Blizzard, which he did not, it's going to be really difficult. The Gravitic Flux coming out as well. The tire, they're just committing every single ult they have. They're ready to take us to map 3 right here, right now. Ty and Go Controls both fall. A massive shatter coming from Weavy. Nairu takes out Sark. That's exactly what was going to happen. The beat forced out from Malorad. It's going to be difficult. There's just no ultimates online. It's now just a battle of pure wit and who can get more damage. The wall messes things up. Mui falls to Weavy. Weavy finds Andromedus as well. The Rampage really holding on, living on a prayer here, but they're going to be stuck. Derpy and Malorad, the only two left on point. Derpy falls to Cold Lessons coming out from Gamit just to clean things up, really tie a bow on top of this. Sark swaps to the Doomfist. He's able to touch just barely. He's able to contest, but he's going to be eliminated so quickly that I don't think it matters. No, we will be going to a map 3.
I was expecting Cream Team to win that, regardless of the Junkrat or whatever happened. But oh, that was close. That tire didn't even do anything in that last fight. It actually
no value. It was just
no. The thing, no. So what happened is Go Controls went behind the enemy team, was in there like on their mini staircase pack, and then they tried to solo tire Derpy. Derpy shielded it and then charges Go Control straight after. So the tire doesn't only get no value, it actually is a suicide move. And it doesn't get any kills. But you know, they still had the Blizzard come out. They had like quite a few other tools that just worked. The Shatter was huge because Derpy wasn't there. But now we're going to see it. No dive coming out from Rampage, which I was sort of expecting, but they're going to go into the small room, and obviously it is the pharmacy.
Controls. We're back to it. The Symmetra TP to point as well. They're combining the two most common things we've seen from them today to try to get very early point control. Andromedus is stunned very quickly, but is supported right back up. The bait is, the wall is coming to funnel the Rampage into the point. Derpy finds a connection onto Weavy. Weavy throws one right back onto Andromedus, which will get rid of the mech. Oh my goodness, so many kills coming out so quickly. Nairu gets a double kill. Go Controls cleans up Andromedus as well. The Rampage will not get first control of this point. Falling very quickly though, they will not be staggered. They will be able to return very quickly.
Yeah, it's going to be Mui trying to do anything against this pharmacy, but they're going to go for their own pharmacy. So they're going to just go head to head on this and say, you know what? You want to go? Then, you know, we're going to go. It's going to be great. Malorad no longer on that Lucio or that Baptiste. We haven't seen them on the Mercy so far, and I like seeing them on something different again. But yeah, Mui is going to start heading those shots.
Probably looking just to get a res if necessary. We see Mui flanking around the back, trying to find an early pick. He gets a little bit of damage in, but it's not going to be enough. Derpy's shield already almost completely negated. He held it up just a little too long. Nairo is slept on point. They need to move in. Now he's immediately woken up. A shatter comes through, connects with Zero. It's wasted. Andromeda's still falling to the microwave, still falling to disease. The Rampage need to no longer push in that direction as the sim turrets are completely there to negate them. Cream Team looking fantastic here. We've got the pharmacy from the Rampage, but it looks like that's not even why they're losing. The Symmetra and Nairu on point on that Sigma are just relentless when the Rampage even poke their heads.
It's such a different point from Night Market. You would think, why don't they don't just do the same thing there? First of all, they're fighting also against this pharmacy, but second of all, it's so much harder to get into a position to fight that open space fight. I will say maybe the Echo Ash can work a little bit better than the McCree.
Already almost falling. Louis crit as well.
There goes Sark.
Being connected. Here comes the wall. Sark lands. Go Controls lands one as well. 3 falling on the side of the Rampage. Sark's ultimate basically being useless as Weavy picks him up as well. Not Go Controls, but Cream Team as a whole may clean this up for us. This may be a very quick map. They may take us to map 6.
It's dive time. It's dive time. They're finally going to do it.
They waited possibly a little too long swapping onto this dive, but if they can touch the point and get in there, they can possibly turn this around very quickly. The Winston going to negate the Symmetra much more after that wall is gone, but the Gravitic Flux from Nairu may prevent them from touching the point at all. 7 seconds left. The Rampage are going to have to get in there and start getting aggressive. They're running out of time to do anything. They need to touch. They're on the point now. They're forcing Cream to connect Louis in the back line. Here they are. The Immortality Field already baited out. Andromeda's less than half health. The mech is going to disappear. The Gravitic Flux coming out as well. Derpy takes out. No, Andromeda's falling to Weavy. Really not looking good. Taijutsu falling as well. Cream Team, they've basically got this one in the bag. We'll have to see an absolute Hail Mary play coming from the Rampage to contest this any longer. This may be a 100-0 for our third map of Lijiang Tower.
It's almost as fast as you can win a round. It's like 150 seconds or something. That's the max time. Is there a minimum time you have to play around? This was bloody close. Yeah. So that's 2-2. Now we go to a tiebreaker. So Ilios, right?
I believe the tie maker is the tie maker. The tiebreaker is just Ilios. The tie maker was Lijiang Talon.
I mean, can we just go Ilios? Because it's not. Okay, so we're getting the thing that it's not gonna be.
I really don't think
map.
anybody expected this to go all the way to map 6. We're not even waiting currently to hear what map type needs to be played.
But it actually is the map, yes. Okay, so look, I gotta apologize though. It feels like it's sort of my curse that I get long games lately. It's been a while. Like it's been, I think, like the first season of OD this year, it started and it still hasn't stopped. So I apologize for everyone who wanted to go home or wanted to go to sleep or wanted to play themselves and didn't want to watch this.
We are not yet, folks.
It's all about me. No, sorry. It's not. It's obviously about the teams. Team Rampage and Cream Team, they're still going at it. But Cream Team, ooh, so we're going to hybrid, I think. So, yeah, which means we have Eichenwald and Numbani left, right? Yes. Okay,
Yeah,
so
Numbani, we're gonna have to pick. The last team would be Rampage, so they will pick.
We see. Okay, so the maps are gonna get gone again. Like just rules are gonna be just checked.
Pulling
just
up
to
the
make sure.
Here, guys. Like I said, I don't think any of us are expecting
really
this
expecting this scenario. Yeah.
Really
so the thing is,
6 on day 2 of a tournament.
Yeah. So the obviously, like when you're used to Overwatch League rules, when they just keep playing control, we can't really do that since not all control maps are in the map pool. So we just had 2 control maps. We're not going to play all 3 of them. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting map no matter what. I can't believe we've made it all the way through. This is phenomenal. We're very close to seeing a reverse sweep from Cream.
Yes. And the call first was to make like a hybrid, but if you're gonna hybrid, there's a potential for a tie, right? So if we get a tie on hybrid, and then so let's just wait for the thing. Okay, so it's escort. We cannot draw an escort. That's a good thing.
The kind of map you cannot stall on. So our choice
cannot stall on escort
remaining are Havana and Dorado.
Ooh, now that is an interesting prospect. If I am Rampage, I pick Dorado.
I was going to say Havana, so I'm very interested to hear why you would say Dorado.
Because Dive is better on Dorado.
Fair enough. You know what? It's simple as that.
That's simple. That's the only reason. Because I think as long as you have the option of playing Dive, you're going to do better. But it does look like they want to go Havana. And now I'm actually interested in seeing why you thought Havana was a better pick.
I think Havana might be a better pick because it's got a lot of open sightlines, but not Widow sightlines. So that gives Mui a fantastic opportunity to play that Ashe, and Sark can get around without having to play as scared of the team, of the enemy hit scan, because there's so many corners to hide behind, especially on second point. If the Rampage can get there, it's going to be fantastic for them. I really feel like if they get to that point and make it past that first point, they're going to absolutely stomp through that second point.
Yeah. Okay. I'm actually going to agree with you now to pick Havana, but for a different reason. And the reason is Pharmacy is a lot better on Dorado, like a lot better on Dorado. So if you're not going to want to play against the Pharmacy, and I think that is the question they're asking themselves now, how can we stop playing against the Pharmacy or against someone that just keeps pumping damage into us without us doing anything against it because it's just a small map? Then where do we go? And then the answer would probably be Havana, where like you said, you have the long sidelines, so you can rely on those longer range hit scans more. The May can come out together with the Ashe, something like that. So I really, really enjoy the thing. Wait, so I was gonna say, are we actually gonna ask Cream what map they want? No, it's gonna be Rampage because they're the last one who lost the map. So yeah, Havana. I'm all for it. We just, we completely flip-flopped on what we thought was going to happen. So I think we're both in agreement now. It's Havana all the way. Havana Unana. Okay. So Rampage is going to start second again.
Definitely. We're going to have to wait to figure out what side Cream Team.
I can't imagine they're not going to go on defense. Like they've been doing defense all day.
Yeah, they've been
Okay,
running.
you know what? You know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna go to a short break because the teams can kind of figure it out, and I think that's just gonna be a very good thing. Everyone collect their thoughts, and we're gonna all come back and enjoy ourselves again.
Everyone take a quick 60 seconds.
Exactly. Gonna take 60 seconds. We'll be right back with you to figure everything out, everything squared away. I think we're still gonna go to Havana, but if there's a difference, we'll figure it out then. We'll see you in a minute or so.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. We've got the rules figured out. We've taken our break. We've collected our thoughts, and we are ready to jump right into Havana Cream Team versus the Rampage. We are on our final map of the evening. It's gone all the way from a 2-0 to a 2-2 with a tie in the middle. So we're really excited to see how this map takes us and how far we're going to go into Havana. We've seen some serious defenses and some serious offenses, and I'm quite excited to see what each team's going to pull out here for us.
Yeah, and after all these insane plays, after all this stressful gameplay, I am gonna need a little bit of a calmer down. So I will probably actually, Havana, I'll take a bit of rum, just to calm the nerves a bit. But it will be fine going into the game right now. We will see once again the same setup with the defense going to be first Cream Team and the offense Team Rampage. So we've been seeing quite a few.
Yeah, I think Cream Team's taking that tactic I discussed earlier, where they're taking
Yeah.
the defense first, so they just have to know how far they really have to get into the map in order to complete it and get that final point. And if Cream Team comes out the same way they did that last round of Lijiang Tower, things are going to get a little shaky here for the Rampage.
They will, but we discussed it before, right? It's there's no room for pharmacy on this one.
Right.
At least there is, but there really isn't. So
There shouldn't be. There's better things
yeah.
to do.
So Sark on the Echo is going to be fairly uncontested. It's going to be a little bit difficult to get past certain sidelines, but Echo is much more self-sustaining and much more mobile than Pharah is, so it's hard to get her out of the sky. So Disease will have to put out a monstrous performance to deal both with the Echo and the Ash of Mui. And then Goat Controls, if Disease is able to do that, then Goat Controls has free reign to help their tanks out. That's going to be great, you know, the ground control. And they're going to go for the spawn holds.
They're going to hold up close in this spawn. You could tell from the very beginning when they picked that Reaper, you knew they had to get up close and personal, but the Rampage kind of read it a little bit. They read all the way around the back. They moved up so they can get behind the cart, have a little bit of extra cover, and that's going to force the Cream Team to move back. Even if they don't get the pick here with the Rampage are looking for, the Cream Team can't afford to get as aggressive. All they really have to do here, they've already got the Immortality Field committed. They just have to get a little bit more damage in. It's been eliminated. Andromeda's getting danger close to being taken out here. He may fall, but we're going to luckily be able to get away. Mui finds the pick on Weavy, but Sark is eliminated by Disease. But losing the main tank, like they're losing one of your main tanks like that, is going to spell disaster here. I think as Christie falls as well, losing a tank and a support, the Cream Team are going to have to get out of there. They're going to rotate back around, only half of them surviving. Taishidu getting a double kill of his own. The Rampage are not going to be held in spawn for very long.
No, and that's fine. You know, you buy about 45 seconds, which is more than you sometimes get. So at least you didn't completely get rolled in that first fight. And now you see Nairo has that shatter up. Christie has the application matrix, and they get Sark early as well.
They can meet very early on the Rampage. They're going to have a seriously rough time putting pressure onto Disease here, as they really needed to get that pressure onto him, or Disease is just going to have free reign. And that's going to be really difficult because he lands headshots like nobody's business. We see a big pull coming out from Derpy here. This is again going to be a slow team fight as the Rampage are just stalling really more than anything, trying to stall for time and wait for Sark to return. And as Sark returns, Mui falls, but they do eliminate Nairo. Finally, Christie is about to fall as well, but no, 2 kills do come through for Cream Team. Things are not looking great here for the Rampage. It's already halfway through their timer.
Yeah, they will not be in a precarious spot where Disease is really the one that's going to have to keep hitting the shots. Otherwise, this long-range composition that Sark and Mui are going to be able to pull out more, together with Andromedas and Derpy, will just reign supreme. Like, they can do more damage from range. And I'm not quite sure. Okay, so I was gonna say they won't go inside, will they? And they do not.
You gotta wonder why they're not playing on that dive. Every time they're losing, they swap to that dive. It's like a safe bet, but why not just start there? A very large shatter comes out.
Oh, the save!
Immortality and Transcendence are both used. With Mui's Bob coming out to suit, it's going to eliminate the Bob coming from Team Cream Team here. The Death Blossom coming out of Goat Controls, and the Bob eliminating the Death Blossom, taking it out of the fight. Mui and Bob there, kind of carrying that fight for the Rampage, and while this won't get them all the way to that first point cap, it's going to get them much, much closer.
I would say Sark was the savior of that fight, because as the shatter came out, they duplicated, meaning they duplicated into Reinhardt. Then they managed to hold off the enemy team for a bit while the Transcendence of Taishitu was activated, and then they charge away Nairo, get a shatter off their own, and they were able to just negate half the team of Cream Team to do anything there.
They're going to commit the bongo here. The fight begins. You see the Gravitic Flux as well is going to pick up just Nairo, who's dropped very low, but the Immortality Field is going to keep him alive. Goat Controls got far enough into the backline to take out Derpy. That's not going to be enough to stop the Rampage. They are going to clean up everybody. Sark falling as well. Andromeda is on the point, but Mui takes Goat Controls out from right underneath Andrew's feet. Andrew didn't even know he was there, and the Rampage are finally able to cap this first point with 3.5 minutes left on the clock. A slight stagger coming onto Disease, who was the only survivor of that last fight.
I think that's a super cool play as well, because instead of going for the targets that were fluxed up, they actually went for the ones that weren't, because they sort of expect that Immortality Field to come out on the targets that are fluxed. So why even bother throwing resources onto that? Throw it on everyone that isn't in it, because they cannot be saved.
It's also a great way to bait the Immortality Field, because the Gravitic Flux does so much damage that even if they live due to the Immortality Field, it's not going to be enough to keep them alive much longer. As soon as that field goes away, they're just sitting ducks. Goat Controls has swapped onto that Doomfist, and we know that can really spell disaster here if they get the kill necessary. Taishidu takes out the Immortality Field very quickly, but Goat Controls is behind him in the back line. I don't think they're even aware that he's there. Sark is putting pressure now onto Goat Controls, but he's flying in with the Harmony Orb. It's going to be really difficult to take him out as quickly as the Rampage would like. The meat falling to Sark and Nairo falling to Malora. That's exactly what the Rampage was looking for. They're going to move very quickly in. Goat Controls finds the kill on a Derpy, but it's eliminated by Sark very soon after. There's a couple left here for Cream Team, but they're very down in numbers as Sark is finally back on that Echo Rampage, taking out half the team there. Nairo is going to be able to touch and recontest with a Shatter. Disease and Goat Controls should not be far behind. If he does the Shatter early, it could be just enough for the team to turn this around. Now they're going to get pincered here. Nairo on one side, Goat Controls and Bob on the other. Bob will not contest the point. Nairo falls quickly. The Transcendence coming from Taishidu, absolutely massive. Again, Bob is worthless. A transformation out of the Doomfist from Sark. He gets an elimination onto Christie, a fantastically placed punch. The Rampage go from almost not capping first to easily capping second. Like I said, I knew they were going to thrive here with that Echo and that Ashe. A perfect prediction here 3 minutes left on the clock to finally cap the third point of Havana.
Yeah, Sark almost dying there just out after the duplication. It was always a hard fight to recontest there because you went in 4v6, 2 were still returning from spawn, and by the time that Wavy and Christie finally arrived, the 2 had already died, so you go back in with 4v6 anyways. Might as well have held on to the ramp here on third, but you know, they're going to try and hold the fort. And this is a very holdable spot, of course. It's so hard to break through.
Bob very early. They're going to commit the Bongo to take out Bob. Go Control's putting an entire Storm Arrow into his head. Does not stop the kill onto Nairu. Bob's still alive. I have no idea how. Both the Immortality Field and the Bongo have been eliminated, as well as Go Control swapping out of that Hanzo. And Andromeda's finds... Oh my goodness. No, the Rampage are now on that Rampage. No Disease finding both damage dealers with a Dynamite. He's still alive, falling into that backline. He's got no more ultimates. If they confirm this kill, it's going to be an insane stagger. He throws the Dynamite as a Hail Mary, but it's not going to be the value he's looking for as it falls off the map. They're going to commit the Bongo to make up for the missing damage dealers. With 2 minutes on the clock, they can even move back for a full reset. A big shatter picking up 3, but the Immortality Field looks like it's going to be bigger, keeping all of them alive. Nairu falling very quickly, and the damage dealers returning just as fast. We've got 3 on the cart guarding around it, but the Rampage are up in numbers here. Spawn advantage coming from the Cream Team. The Rampage has to move in quickly. Disease on the high ground directly above them, looking for picks as quickly as possible. The Gravitic Flux coming out from Andromeda, forcing out the Transcendence here. Mui does be eliminated by Disease. Nairu on the right side. Things are looking great. Another Transcendence being forced out of Taijutsu. The Rampage just trying to clean up this fight as quickly as possible, but Disease finds another pick on to start. Go Control's on the Bastion, just desperately trying to keep this point alive for as long as possible. The Immortality Field forced out, but the Rampage are going to have to move out with only a minute and a half. They've got one more good push before they can really call it a day.
Yeah, so now we're going to win this in this sort of last-ditch effort, really. I think a big thing about it was that they were focusing so much on that amplification matrix that came out on the one spawn door that they couldn't see the shatter. Or they couldn't really do anything against the shatter that came out from Nairu there. Now we're going to see this Bastion strat on the defense. We know that Bastion can be very good if you don't have a good way to approach him at long range. Does get taken out here by a nice right click.
Fantastic pick. The Rampage are not going to have that window they were looking for. The spawn advantage is there, but if the Rampage can just get a little more aggressive, Bob flying in from Mui right into the back line. Now Cream Team has to split their defenses. Bob flying out as well, but Bob from Mui is getting much more value. He gets a triple kill. Oh my goodness, Mui absolutely gets a 6K with the help of Bob. Literally gets a 6K with 30 seconds on the clock. The Rampage are going to walk that cart in, getting 3 points on our final.
At 29 seconds left as well. Of course, on escort, doesn't matter if you have time left or not for the other team to get another attack. So they will still have to defend and full hold regardless of what happens. But they have quite a bit of space to work with. This does reminisce a little bit of Rialto, because there's such a good possibility that Cream Team just completes the map with about 30 seconds left as well. They both get about a minute to do it again, and then we can see who's really made of escort flesh
in that final hour.
Yeah.
Really pull through, because I do agree the odds of us seeing a very similar repeat of Havana seem very, very high to me.
It's
but
pretty nice. Yeah.
Maybe the Rampage will full hold and hit us with a very interesting surprise. We're not going to see a lot of swaps from the Rampage, but we do see Malorad on the Brigitte. I think he played it a little bit earlier today, but I think it's going to be big. They're looking.
That means
they
it's
are
on
absolutely
time. Yeah, and you know why? You know why it's good that Sark's still in the Echo? I don't know if you remember this when like Havana was new, when there were teams holding with the pharmacy above the spawn. I think you can do something very similar with Echo, and if Sark can get that angle off where they just are essentially untouchable, that's going to be so annoying to get out of spawn with. So they might get like a 2-minute spawn hold here, if not more, if they do really well.
Oh, yep, the Rampage slowly moving forward, but Mui hanging out in that back line looking for the damage. If he can take Disease or Goat Controls out early, it's going to spell an immediate lost fight for the Rampage, or excuse me, for Cream Team. Derpy, 25% of that shatter, Meepy to 20% as well. Immortality Field baited out so unbelievably early. Goat Controls in the back line. Mui finds Goat Controls midair, an absolutely fantastic pick. Now, don't get me wrong, Cream Team can still win this fight, but it's going to be much more difficult to do without such serious damage. Weevy's caught in the back line. The entire team is going to rotate to fight him, but Derpy not holding up that shield is going to cost Sark's life. The Reinhardt in the back line. Weedy is definitely stuck behind him. He's stunned to death. He will be stun locked until he dies. The Rampage getting a much better defense on this first point than I think we saw from Cream Team. Cream Team still getting a little bit of value, but Rampage getting much more picks. And Malorad already 77% of that rally, which is going to be a fantastic ultimate to hold on this corner here. The Nano Boost being committed to Derby, being committed to a fight that appears to already be won. Cream Team just moving backwards. Weeby diving in way too deep. Once again, Derpy taking him out with a charge. That's a 4v6 in the favor of the Rampage. A 3v6. The Rampage are going to clean it up. They're much better at the spawn hold than I think we expected to see. This is very similar to the defense we saw from them on Rialto.
And it's a very sort of a hybrid spawn hold because both the DPS are very flexible to just fight longer ranges so they can walk away. And they were able to disengage. Normally the spawn hold is you die on the card in their spawn. That's what you do. But they were able to disengage and then re-engage in such a good fashion that if they're going to keep completing to do that, it's hard to fight into.
Go Control's flying into the back line. The Immortality Field's committed. The Shatter committed as well. The Shatter picks up 0. Oh, the Bob from Disease getting a double kill on both Malorad and Derpy. That's going to spell disaster for the Rampage here unless they can get 2 very impressive picks of their own. The sleep from Taijitu coming through onto the Bob far too late. Mui being eliminated as well. In a little bit, it looks like even though those were great holds a little bit earlier than the Rampage, that it looks like Cream Team's going to be able to hold this point here. Or excuse me, cap this point.
Barrier in place. That's going to be...
Oh, here comes Derpy with a triple shatter. He gets back into the point, getting really aggressive. And the Gravitic Flux being committed as well. Gravitic Flux picking up 0. Mui has the Bob. They're going to stall for a little bit longer. The Meteor Strike comes through. Go Control's chasing Malorad into the backline. He does find the pick. Mui does hold on to that Bob. He does send it out. Go Control's getting a pick of his own. A shatter coming through onto Nano Derpy. It's going to be really difficult for the Rampage to do anything. They stalled almost an entire minute. They committed a lot of ultimates, but it may have been worth it as Derpy's still alive and he's just holding on for as long as he can. He's in a 3v1. There's no chance he wins this at less than half health. Go Controls finds a pick onto Taijitu, who I didn't even know was still alive in that backline. Derpy holding on for dear life will finally be eliminated, and almost at the exact same time as the Rampage, Cream Team may be able to finally push this through.
That was so beautiful because Taijitu was just kept consistently healing up Derpy there, which means that Taijitu almost got another ultimate up, actually. Oh, no, actually, it's further away. I thought they actually got another one up. I don't know which ultimate charge I was looking at. Apparently another one. But we got to see Sark with the duplicate ready. That's the one I'm really looking forward to, because what are you going to be doing with that duplicate? Who are you going to duplicate? I'm thinking the Reinhardt again. They've been doing that most of the time. But Sigma's such a popular choice at higher levels. Like, you could go for that one.
I feel like Cream Team has a couple of good choices. They could go with the Doom, the Ashe, the Ryan, the Sigma, and he's gonna go for the Sigma like you predicted. Very good call there. I think this is where we're really gonna see the difference between the Rampage and Cream Team. Is I don't think Cream Team is going to get as much value here as quickly as the Rampage did. The Bob does come out, but the Rampage have already cleaned up most of the Cream Team. All they have to do is move back. A Gravitic Flux being committed. Oh, excuse me, that's the one from Sark, so it doesn't really matter that much. Go Controls has gotten a triple kill. The Rampage just not putting the pressure on him that they need to. Weavy walking the carpet. Now he's pinchered between Derpy and Sark. Go Controls flying in, putting the pressure on it. Derpy, and Derpy getting knocked into a pin. Fantastic coordination, but Go Controls does fall to Sark. Sark can put a little bit more pressure on the cart, but with Lucio, Mui putting the Bob out as well. They're committing right here, right now. This is exactly what they were looking to do. Bob putting a lot of pressure onto Weavy. Disease in the backline, but no, a double kill from the Rampage. Like I said, Cream Team's not going to get as easy as a push here as the Rampage did. They're ticking down this timer as long as possible. They've got 2 ultimates to commit, but Cream Team has almost 4. It's going to be really difficult for the Rampage to win this. They're going to have to play 1 ultimate at a time and just try to get these picks early on before the enemy team can press Q.
They're okay ultimates, though. You can definitely stall out a lot with the Gravitic Flux. You can use the...
picks just
that's
like
an
that.
extra one.
Mui onto Disease.
Let's go.
A fantastic shot coming through. Mui on that Ashe is just absolutely nuts. He does
Look
not
at that as well. The Sigma shield, the Brigitte armor. Mui's given every opportunity to have the advantage over Disease, and that's what you need.
Even further in this 5v6, they're going to push in and get really aggressive. They're going to try. Andro hits the rock. They've baited out the Immortality Field, and it's already gone. Andro's got the ult. This might be the time to use it. A transformation from Sark now onto the Reinhardt. He's going to get aggressive. He gets countercharged. He's probably going to be knocked out of this transformation before he can get much value. He gets solo shattered by Weavy, but a lot more ultimates are coming out. The B is forced out as a Gravitic Flux, and the Bob are flying in. Bob putting pressure down once again, creating a pincer. Nairu eating all of those bullets, but he still finds a kill. Ina Christia support falling on both sides, but a spawn advantage coming through from the Rampage. Go Controls does fall, and that's really going to spell disaster for Cream Team, as he's been getting most of their kill completions and getting most of their damage. The Immortality Field is gone from Gami. He no longer has it. Valorad's eliminated by Weavy, but Weavy is eliminated by Sark. The Rampage are just barely on top of this fight with a minute and a half left, and a Bob flying in from a critical health Disease. Andromedus is really going to fall to the Bob. Derpy putting a lot of pressure down, but it might not be enough. Mui running as well, but Disease takes out Mui. It's just Derpy and an Immortality Field and a Dream on the cart with a minute and 10 seconds. Sark is taken out, but Sark eliminates Go Controls. If the Rampage can get back in time, they can actually put some pressure down onto this map and try to win it all.
Members.
Bongo, but it's going to be eliminated very quickly.
Oh, that charge is going to come out. They're going to keep the point here. I don't think, yeah. So Andromedus is not even going to try. They're just going to back up. They're like, you know what? Maybe I've got staggered, but
Absolutely.
Yeah. But it's better though, because they're able to reset more and not stagger out as much as Cream Team did. So they'll be able to potentially push forward. But of course, they have a very static composition. They can't play with the Reinhardt and just try and attack them. They're gonna spam from range, and that's a very good strategy. Of course, you're fighting against.
Speaking of spamming from range.
Oh, Junkrat time!
Junkrat's up. We saw Go Controls on this Junkrat earlier. He can absolutely carry a team on his shoulders. MayLu drops the try here. Big flex coming out from Nairu, a very early one as he's just going to Immortality Field. The charge coming through from Weeby. Weeby immediately eliminated. He gets a little cocky with that Gravitic Flux, tries to pin somebody out of it, but he's not going to get the value he's looking for. The window has been committed, and the transformation being committed from Sark as well. With 1 minute and 40 seconds, they can really turn the fight around right now. The Gravitic Flux picks up Disease in the backline. Disease absolutely ripped the shreds. Disease and Gamete both falling. The Rampage are finally going to flip this point back in their favor. They're going to try to take this down as little as possible, but if it's completed with even the smallest amount of time, if it's completed with 0 seconds, they will still have to try again. So the Rampage are really going to have to try to hold right here, right now, and they do have an ult advantage in the slightest bit. They've got the Gravitic Flux, which they might hold for the overtime. The Bob's going to come out any second now, and the rally's going to be huge. Here comes the rally and the Bob as predicted, but Go Controls found the pick on Taijutsu. That's not going to look good. The Gravitic Flux going to have to be committed instead. Bob picking them out of the sky. The beat being forced out from Christie, but it's not going to be enough. It's not going to get the value that they're looking for. He uses it, but it's not going to be worth it. The ultimate's all being used from the Rampage. They're going to have to put on a serious show here as this fight's going to slowly tip in the favor of Cream Team as they're getting closer and closer, but the Rampage are getting those spawn advantages.
Yeah, of course they're gonna have spawn advantage. It's 45 seconds on the clock, so this definitely will be last fight unless they use it right now. That's a huge shatter.
Prominence falling. Derpy not far to follow. He's dropping less than 25% health. He's been pincered in the middle here. Nobody's really there to contest other than MayLu, who's already dropped to critical health conditions. The tire going right to the point. It's not gonna find MayLu. Sark is returned to the point as Doom because MayLu finally falls. Movie falls. Sark falls. Andro's there as the Wrecking Ball gets 20% of his ult, but he's probably gonna fall very soon here with a lot of just CC and abilities. Oh, they're swapping to a dive slowly but surely, just stalling the cart as long as possible. They're not going to be able to get it into the overtime, and with 14 seconds left, they are going to be able to cap, putting us at 1 minute versus 1 minute 15, and that 15 seconds could really make or break the Rampage here.
Yeah, that's it might make a difference, it might not, and there's only one way to find out, and that's play the next 2 rounds. And that's of course exactly what they're going to, because that, you know, can't just stop now, can't give up now, can't say that the game is over now because they got 15 seconds more. So yeah, Team Rampage gonna have to defend first. They're probably gonna go for the spawn hold again. Last time around, they did a very good job on holding point A, but both teams did a pretty good job on holding point A. So
absolutely,
I don't know. We're gonna see a Rialto repeat, I think. I do so believe. Don't declare. I don't know. It's possible.
Rampage finally swapping to the Rhine Sigma. They're looking for that absolute aggression. We've seen it before. That's the aggressive way to play this double shield comp. They've got the Brig as well, so technically a triple shield comp. Not something you see often, but it's something that they are going to hold up close, because holding up close, there's very few ways for it to go negatively for your team, because it gets you 2 holds instead of 1. Holding on the back corner usually only gets you a single hold, but holding up close and personal is going to get you that double hold. They are hiding in the bookstore here, and they're going to wait. They're going to rotate around. They're going to push right into spawn. There's no way Cream Team hasn't seen them, so they're going to have to be ready for a fight right out the gate.
3, 2, 1.
So, yeah, right now we're going to be looking to see exactly what happens. Nice positioning.
MayLu drops to half health. Immortality Field already being committed and eliminated. Derpy dropping to half health as well. If Cream Team gets a pick here, it's going to spell disaster for the Rampage. They're trying to hold up close and personal. 15 seconds already gone, almost 20. The Rampage don't even need it to... Oh, they're going to win the fight. Sark with a double headshot. Fantastic timing, fantastic eliminations, a triple kill. This is going to spell disaster here. If they don't move the cart at all, the Rampage are going to be in a very good spot as long as they're not also full health in spawn. 30 seconds in ult advantage for the Rampage, and Go Control swapping to the Hanzo, looking for that shield break. It's going to be really difficult for Cream Team to break this, but if they can, it's going to turn into a serious match. Oh, yeah, double kill. There it is. That's exactly what they needed to see. Mui dropping, MayLu dropping, Derpy dropping, and it's just now 1 by 1. They're going to feed the Cream Team their ultimates. They need to get out of this fight as quickly as possible if they want to recontest.
Looking like they're going to be... I mean, obviously they're going to be able to recontest. That's not going to be an issue. They have an entire map to recontest if they do so. If they're like not going to be able to defend at all. But Sark's going to have the duplicate. They're going to have the nano. Shatter's close. They even have the Gravitic Flux coming up. And I'm sure that Bob will be able to be charged, but it's all about who uses their ultimates better effectively and who doesn't get picked off.
Yeah, this is gonna turn into whoever gets a pick first. They're committing the nano boost very early, trying to take out Weavy. They're gonna change. We've got 2 Reinhardts on the side of the Rampage. Go controls onto the Doofus, but Go controls and Disease falling so unbelievably quickly. Weavy does not seem far behind. There he goes. The Rampage are looking to turn this around. The beat coming out from Christie just to stall for as long as possible. Sark getting another shatter onto Nairu. Bob coming out from Mui. The Rampage using every ultimate they have, and it's gonna be exactly what they needed to end it right here, right now, and put themselves into the final attacking position of the evening.
Looking like they can potentially clutch this one away, but obviously it's going to be a very tough one to do because you still have to get to that point. You have a minute 15, but that's usually about as long as it takes you to get there, unless you just obliterate a spawn hold.
The Rampage, yeah, and unless the Cream team give us the strongest defense we've seen in a while, it's going to be quite easy for the Rampage to at least get close to contesting, if not winning the map overall. I wouldn't be surprised to see GOAT controls on the Bastion, but maybe on the Doomfist just for the more mobility. We saw him on the Bastion last time they wanted to hold up close or get further with a small amount of time, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it. He hasn't picked quite yet, but it's the double shield comp. We see the more defensive double shield comp coming from the Rampage. I don't think that's the idea here. I don't think that's the proper call. But they were able to roll it last time. The Reinhardt seemed to get a lot more value there than I think the Orisa's going to.
Yeah, and are they going to go for the spawn hold? Yeah, okay, so they're going to hold up close. They kind of have to. You can't hold this first corner.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's going to be...
They really risk it
well,
all.
maybe they will. I mean, they have good controls on that. Okay, that Junkrat. It's going to be the Junkrat, right? The Junkrat's going to have to make the difference. If the Junkrat doesn't get the value... You know,
if Goat control is eliminated early, that will be the final nail in the coffin for Cream Team here, I think. They're going to push up close, a very common strategy, hide behind this cart. They are a little bit more split, though. They've got the BAP and the Brig. It's almost an exact match of what the Rampage were running. Oh, Sark taking the Goat control! That's exactly what the Rampage needed. That's exactly what they should be looking for. Disease takes out Sark, though. It's now 5v5, but with a serious spawn advantage for the Rampage. Cream Team's going to have to kite back around this corner. They're going to look for these kills, but they're just being pushed back. Mui finding Gamit. They need to start running. They're feeding ultimates at this point. Mui's already halfway to it. Bobby gets a triple kill. An absolutely phenomenal performance from Mui. You don't see it like that on the Ashe anymore. Absolutely incredible. The man does not miss a shot in these crucial moments. They are slowly, inch by inch, getting to this corner. They've got the 3 on the cart. If they play this player, he's got almost Mui with 2 more eliminations. Are you joking me? Mui is not here to screw around any longer. They've taken it 2 maps too far. Mui is ready to clean this up right here, right now. He's got almost double what Disease has on that Bob charge. Mui's going to send this Bob out very early, and it could spell disaster. Taijinu falls to Disease. That might spell disaster. Things are getting very close. Disease getting a double kill. This might be where it all ends. 3 meters away, but Disease coming back on that Ashe, farming a Bob of his own. 10 seconds on the clock. Can anybody on the Rampage even touch? This is not looking good for them. Sark falling very late, 2 seconds, but no, the Rampage. The overtime is ticked off. I'm not quite sure how. Valorad finds a pick onto Weavy. Here comes the Bob. He's running onto the point, but he's not going to make it. And no, Cream Team does beat the Rampage in a reverse sweep. You don't see it like that anymore. Absolutely phenomenal performance. Wow.
You had everything to work with, and you just give the picks away.
They caught Taijinu too early. Nobody was putting Disease where he needed to be. Absolutely insane matchup. You don't see him like that anymore. Very unfortunate loss for the Rampage fans, but Cream Team fans, I'm sure, are screaming at this moment. Absolutely phenomenal performance. Probably the fastest turnaround I've ever seen. Wow, you don't really see them like that anymore, like I said, but the Rampage, we've seen they are a force to be reckoned with. They may have lost this one, but by the skin of their teeth.
That's yeah, that's gonna feel bad if you're Rampage. It was so close. On the other hand, though, if you're going to lose, this is the fashion to lose in. That's just that's like going out in the blaze of glory style. Like, that was really, really a great game. I don't really know what we were expecting going into this. I don't think, because we didn't know what we were going to expect. But this is like more than you can hope for an Overwatch match. It's exactly what you want. It's not perfect, but it's also not complete chaos. There were great strategic plays coming out, great mechanical skill from both the Ashes, Disease, and Mui were really well matched up. And it was just those tiny, tiny differences that just put it over the edge. Because it's not just like, oh, Disease gets the picks there. No, it's so much more than that. And in every single map that was the case. So Great
All
job
right,
for both
great job,
teams.
everyone,
Congratulations to the
absolutely.
team.
Congrats, Cream Team. I think we are going to call it a night. I am
Oh,
Septilence.
yes.
This is my co-caster ManofClass, and after a nearly 3-hour match, I'm sure you guys are ready to call it a day just as much as we are. So everybody have a good one, and thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.